Greetings, my fellow expressions
Hello, hello,
of
hello,
infinite.
fellow expressions.
I was gonna say stuff, but Aaron starts talking in the middle of me saying stuff. So,
Oh, I apologize. Expressions of, fellow infinite expressions of.
greetings,
I ruined
everybody.
it.
Welcome to Expanded Understanding. We had a nice creative intro thought out in my mind, but here
Oh,
we
Zach,
are.
I'm so sorry.
Nevertheless, appreciate everybody being here. Appreciate everybody being a part of this. If you know your numbers, today's a special one. It's also 10 days away from my birthday, which happens to also be known as the great day of Juneteenth. That's a fun little research if you haven't researched that one.
I
And
haven't.
so we're entering into an interesting little period of the days 0 through 9. So I'm particularly happy about the position of Earth at this time, despite the fact that many people might think that the Earth is in upheaval. Well, this place needed an enema, guys. So, good. We are in a bit of upheaval, and that's what's going to allow us to move to somewhere that's actually better. It's
Hmm.
pretty easy to look at the world in a lot of cases and feel like whatever is going on is actually something bad happening. But I trust if you will find that if you look in the right places, that you see that we are actually experiencing one of the grandest awakenings that has been seen in a significantly long time. It is the culmination of just an unbelievable amount of work and an unbelievable amount of really functionally sacrifice of people's times, lives, what they wanted to maybe do, just that would have made them have given them time to have a good time or have joy. Instead, they put that into teaching other individuals and becoming a specific drop of primordial creation falling into the transcendental sea of bliss that created waves that brought forth the change that we are now experiencing here. And we probably, through that, saved ourselves from an experience that we didn't really want to go through. So, congratulations, ourself, on taking care of that. Really good
Yeah.
job. Big, whatever. There's no good word for what I'm trying to say, but I wish you peace, love, unity, and have great respect for what you have done. I see you as an expression of myself. That's the highest possible compliment that I could give to anybody else. I love me very much, and
Hmm.
I see you guys out there in the just there's just so many damn permutations of this thing doing this thing now. It's really just incredible to watch. It's really just I mean, man, in a certain way, like for the longest time, I was like, "Oh, you guys haven't been here for 20 years. You don't know what it's like." And now I'm sitting here going like, "Wow, shit, man! I wish you guys would have been here for the last 20 years because watching what's happening right now after looking at the
Yeah.
last 20 years is like, this is fucking amazing. This
Yeah.
is
Come on,
awesome."
man.
You know,
100%. Yeah, yeah.
we got people out there protesting massively, and they've actually managed to not fall into a completely funded agenda to turn that violent, get the police defunded, spiral us into a position of martial law where our police force is replaced by robots. So we're dodging that bullet. That's good. Don't
Hmm.
defund the police. That's not a good idea. As the great, if you call him great, maybe you think he's great. He was at least a great rapper. Tupac said, you know, they need protection too. Everybody has situations where they need protection. It's not the
Yep.
police that are the problem, it's the education. It's not the race
Mm.
that's the problem, it's the education. It's not the class that's the problem, it's the education. It's the systematic division of these spaces so that someone can profit that is the problem. If
Mm.
you're out there on the streets and you're talking to real people, racism ain't really a thing. People don't do that the same way. It's not the way that it's painted inside of the media. These people do get along. There are people working together, and there's also people that are working apart. If you focus on the people that are working apart, it can look like all types of various different dialogues. If you watch the mainstream media, they would love you to believe that everything is working apart. That's why they're
Mm.
constantly preaching a divisive paradigm and telling you to hide yourself, render yourself safe, stay away from the dangerous thing. World ain't that dangerous, man. I highly urge you to go out there and take a look at it, despite the fact that they tell you you're supposed to stay in your house still, even though if you watch TV at all, you see that there's thousands and thousands of people gathering in the same location and nothing's happening to them. So question whether or not you actually have to follow that rule or whether you're just doing it
Hmm.
because you want to. You never had to follow the rule to begin with. another interesting note about that one. You always could have gone out and they wouldn't have done anything about it. So they just tell you they're
Mm-hmm.
going to do something about it. They can't do anything about, quote unquote, the people. If they are a government or they're trying to govern anything at all, they need the people. They can't stop the people from having what they want. That would completely be counterintuitive to the agenda of controlling said populace. Doesn't work out. So, no. That's really like, that's the mantra. No. No. No.
Hmm.
If I don't like it, no. Yeah. And that's fine. Like, we will find the balance where everybody actually can be who they want and like the things they like and not like the things that they don't like and find their space. It's a big world out there. Most of
Yep.
it is not even populated yet. Really,
Yep.
there's just enormous amounts of open space, and I'm not saying we should cover the entire earth with people. Quite the opposite. In fact, I love the jungle. I love the forest. I love glaciers up on high mountains where you can't even see a person from where you are. I love all these things. But it is a gigantic world, and there is plenty of space out there for everybody to live the life that they want to. You know,
Hmm.
permitting this isn't inhibiting someone else from living the life that they want to. Right? So,
Yeah, it's saying no to their system while out creating and co-creating with others. A totally new way of living, starting with you, but then communities like this and bringing people in to have new ideas and new ways of connecting outside of all the drama and all the stuff that's going on out in the world. So we create an inner space within communities to expand ourselves and to connect. And that's what we're doing here. It's awesome.
unify, unify, unify. There's
Plur.
always some way that you can work together with the other people in your life or with yourself to create a better outcome for you to experience. I urge you to do this because nobody else is going to come along and save you or make your life all better. The government's not going to change the world. None of these things are going to happen. You're going to change your world. The
Yeah.
earlier you realize that, the better off you will be. It does not have to do with anything to do with who you were or where you came from. When you decide to put all of your energy towards enhancing your life and the life of people around you, the entirety of your reality ends up becoming enhanced because of that.
Yep.
So,
There's a quote about altruism from an article I posted. It's really good. Let me pull it up here. Which
altruism.
altruism? Yeah, so maybe word of the day. Pull that up.
Oh, I thought you had the article when you started saying that.
I was
Altruism is
saying.
a very interesting subject, a touchy subject at that one in a sense because it's kind of like subjective objectivity. It's kind of a weird situation. Like it's subjective, but subjective with the idea that it would have the highest possible perspective and really be able to take all factors into account and truly do the right thing. You know,
Right.
which is a hard task to pull off. Really, that's not the easiest thing to do.
So that okay, I found the quote. So the quote is an excerpt from an article about kindness or the effects of kindness psychologically or observing kindness or any of those dynamics. It says altruism transcends the separateness that we often experience as human beings. It connects us to one another. And in fact, pure altruism is only possible because at the deepest level, all human beings are part of the same network of consciousness. The person who performs the altruistic act experiences this, and perhaps the recipient of the act of kindness too. And when we witness the act, we become part of the network as well. I
I
like
think
it.
that's a very good quote. It's better than this definition provided by Google right here. The belief in
Geez,
or
Google.
practice of disinterested and selfless concern for the well-being of others. Then we get some similar words down here that are selflessness, self-sacrifice, self-denial. Okay, so this brings us into,
Yeah, it takes us to a
good old
totally different take on
language,
it.
right?
Yep.
Now, so good old language can either use altruistic to mean that like I've done something out of oneness, knowing that it's actually the right thing to do,
And it's helping me.
oftentimes even when it does not necessarily benefit me as much as some other type of manipulative format of operation would do. You
Yeah.
just do the right thing. But inside of here, we're seeing that, denial of self, I'd urge you not to.
Agreed.
Self-sacrifice, I would urge you not to.
Agreed.
selflessness, I would urge you to contemplate the concept of selflessness.
Hmm.
But I would also urge you to, have some discernment as to whether or not you act with less self, right?
Yeah. Well,
So,
then, and the altruism being presented by the quote that I read, which is the reason I liked it more, being about so a choice out of an overflow in a moment to do an act of kindness. I mean, little things you can think of the stereotypical things, but just even creative acts of kindness, meaning or altruism in the sense of it's not sacrificing like an aspect of me where I like either make this deadline for work or I help this person out and then I'm grumpy and bitter because I've sacrificed something that I really wanted to do or needed to do for the sake of someone else. One is like an outflow or an overflow of kindness or actions that aren't necessary. It's not really hindering your life, or maybe it is a little bit in some level, but it's not. It's a joyful giving and expression of kindness for the sake of kindness because that other person is you. You are helping you. That's to the detriment of your personal avatar, your personal self. It's a different matter, but as a generality, I mean, just even thank you, and I mean, politeness can be a kindness sometimes, or saying thank you, or giving someone eye contact. It can be seen as more of a kindness. So I like that dynamic.
yeah, I think if you end up in the position where after you do the thing, you're like, oh, damn it, I feel that I lost something or that I shouldn't have done that or whatever. You didn't do an
Yeah,
altruistic thing. You did what you believed the
was the right
dialogue
thing to
told
do.
you was the right thing to do. You did not want to do that thing.
Yeah,
So you've just basically, offended yourself, right? Like
and
you've
even
gone against what you wanted.
and even if you're helping someone else, it doesn't mean you didn't help them. Sure, there's something you did maybe was helpful to that person in and of itself. However, if you're left in a place where you feel bitter or begrudged because you've done something that affected you negatively, then it takes at the very least away from you benefiting from that altruistic effect. It's supposed to be, I think, the dynamic there it's expressing is a positive feedback loop. You're doing it out of an overflow of kindness. You're seeing it affect someone else. You know that's how you're sharing with you. So when you see that that affects them or benefits them or causes them relief or just a moment of feeling appreciated or feeling whatever it may be, a million different things, that you feel that also. It's a positive feedback loop, and then you move on with your day or whatever it is, or maybe it really
Yeah.
affects you the rest of your day, or but it's a positive feedback to yourself.
Yeah, I refer to these as one up, one down scenarios where basically, one person has to be sacrificed so that the other one can grow. This never leads
Mm.
to a net return, right? Like one loses out so that one can gain, and that's not really actually necessary in an abundant reality. But
Mm.
if you're approaching things where me giving of my time or of my energy or resources to someone else is something that I don't actually want to do, but I do anyways, then you've enhanced their life by decreasing the quality of your own, right? This is
Yeah.
where the one up, one down happens. This happens with the caretaker style individual a lot of times, which,
Mm.
being in a place where we have the healer concept prevalent around the kinds of spaces that we have right here. And the healer has a big tendency to oftentimes fall into being that caretaker. And this is a good way to like watch it. Like you shouldn't have to get rid of yourself or step over yourself in order to help someone else. If
Yeah.
you are an actually like giving person and you care about other people, you can totally take care of yourself and then with the extra time give to other people and everyone will feel like you are a great person. Like,
Yeah, well, it's and even just time. It's not time or money or effort that can be extra, but it's really extra energy, whatever that looks like. So, the extra time or the extra energy and that dynamic and overflow of you finding satiation within some level of yourself, so that when you run into someone or a situation, you're able to see that you can fill that need or that something that may help them out, and so you're happy to do it. You're aware and able to just overflow into it.
yeah. I mean, I honestly, if it wasn't for a certain level of altruism, well, I would keep to myself an awful lot, you know, honestly, because there's I mean, I could recluse away from society and be a pretty happy person, but
Hmm.
I think it's more beneficial to the grander self, which is more than just me, Zach,
Mm.
to not like have figured out how I can have what's the right words? I don't want to use the wrong words for this stuff. Uh, where I can have some level of effective management over my life to then basically like take that information and run off into the woods, into the dark with it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
everyone benefits from this. I learned it because everyone's been working on it. I really do believe in a collected consciousness, and so I very much so want to continue to propagate that information throughout of it. The things that at least have helped me get to the point where I could effectively manage myself with a consistent result that was what
Yeah.
I was trying to actually generate. So, if you can't do that, we really ought to work together. This stuff is not that really that hard to do. Just hanging around the community is a great methodology to
Yeah.
get places. But if you're really trying to get places fast, like you need to work directly with things that work directly with your situation. Yeah, it's just the nature of the beast. So, altruism, a good approach, but I think a lot of people use altruism also as a guise, basically.
Mm.
And
Hmm.
there is other angles of this guise too. Yeah, oftentimes people in certain positions to what will avoid directness with this. People in certain positions will use the projection that they ought to be operating from an altruistic position to get away with things that would otherwise be caught. So
Mm.
you have to be careful of people who hold positions where that position kind of gets a natural expectation that this person will be altruistically good. For instance,
Mm.
the Pope. Okay? That's
Yeah.
just for instance. And there's a
It's a
lot
good
of
one.
other individuals who hold this place. But we should never look to some type of basically eidolon, a human that is being made an idol out of, and then pretend that they are truly always acting with altruism. They maybe are doing their best to act
Yeah.
altruistically, but to just give them like, well, oh, it's the Pope, he's altruistic. Yeah, that's a dangerous one, you know. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, probably not.
The
Maybe not.
presumption. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not on that one. I don't know. We'll find out after we know what the person has done, right? Like
Yep.
what they actually did.
What they actually did, not based on what we were told that they did.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, probably the one that most people can relate to. I mean, who knows how divided people are on the Pope, but like Kim Jong Un or whoever the leader is there, right? You see the massive things they say about him, all the time. Like, I mean, I read an article a while back, and all his achievements, that the way he played golf even was miraculous. Like, it was a hole in one on every course, and like all this stuff about all their acts and amazing things he's doing and amazing things he's done for himself or others, and you know, it's a lot of things apparently he's done that not many people have seen, except
Yeah, and
these
we have
select
an
few.
interesting one with that too, because these things come forth through basically like we'll call it the mainstream media, for lack of better terminology,
Mm.
and like so for us to outwardly just believe that it is true that he claims to have done these things, but no one ever saw it, is to usher some level of altruism onto the shoulders of the mainstream media as well. And just
Yeah.
believe that the information coming out of them is actually accurate. I mean, they are probably, maybe they're doing their best to generate accurate information. I don't think that's the case. I think they're
Hmm.
businesses and they serve the requests of their shareholders like every other business.
Hmm.
But nevertheless, to give them some kind of belief that because they brought the information forward, the information is true because it is the news. That's a preposterous thing to apply. I don't really think anybody watching this channel wouldn't already agree with that, anyways. But this is just
Yeah.
it's kind of the idea that there's multiple levels, and the level of basically the Pope, or even believing yourself to be some kind of person who, oh yes, I definitely operate altruistically all of the time, like
Yeah.
you should watch that. Like, you might have that intention, but are you actually carrying it out? If you
Hmm.
really, really want to be altruistic, then you're going to need to pay attention to that, it seems.
Jen is assuring us that she is here with purely altruistic reasons of helping create unity and liberation. He he.
Yeah. I, I'm living with her. I know that is her intention. Okay.
Hmm.
But even still, we can't apply this like, it's a throw the baby out with the bathwater, only you're throwing the baby into the bathwater, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can't just because someone has an intention doesn't intrinsically mean that they are actually successfully carrying out that intention all the time. Not picking directly at Jen here in any capacity.
Yeah,
I'm just
just as a
already
human
saying
being in
this.
general. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got you, bro. Yeah,
So,
Brittany said I am a recluse, and I'm trying to work on that. So that was probably in relation to what you said a little earlier ago.
yeah.
Kevin's upset because
And
she
yeah,
stole his word.
recluse is one
There you go.
secluded from society, usually because religious
Religion or
reasons
spirituality.
or for spiritual reasons. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's also like a totally dangerous spider as well.
That's right. Is
So
it the dangerous one, or is those the big? No, I think it's in Washington. The big wolf spiders that you get in your showers once, twice a year, that are like 4 or 5 inches in diameter. They're bigger, but I
yeah,
don't think
no,
it's the
they're not that
recluses. They're
big.
just
They brown recluses hang out around wood piles, and they have
ah,
they have a necrotic venom, which in a certain way, like, well, necrotic venom's the kind you don't want, really,
mm.
because it doesn't kill you. Oftentimes, it can,
Yeah,
but
it
it
eats
will
away your
create like
tissue.
right gaping pits inside of your fucking skin, and
Yep.
basically it's injected leprosy, so
And
not so great.
And just so you guys know, there are ways to deal with this that our DNA skin suits come built in with them. They're one, actually, Jen, as a separate way, Jen's talked about where Mapacho was blown into the bite of a type of ant that's like the second most poisonous bite in the world or something, and pushed it all out. But there's also with your own DNA skin suit, your urine, womb therapy, urine therapy, that your stem cells and also the antiviral, antivenom, antibodies for any poison you take into you, is my understanding based on the text, things I've read, and my own experience with lesser things, even bee stings or mosquito bites, that actually will, within minutes, reduce inflammation. But you have within 10 seconds of getting bitten by something, you have those anti whatever you need in your actual urine. So even just like 2 teaspoons sublingually, even 10 seconds after you get bit, it's a very real thing, and you can look into that more. But distilled water therapy and urine therapy is a very, very real thing, and I have done it myself personally because it's a very real technology. A little gross, but when you understand the body's made for things, and also when you're eating healthy, more so, it's really, I mean, it sounds gross to hear, but it's really like warm coconut water. It really is. It doesn't taste bad at all. It's just the morning stuff, and that's where the excess toxins and things, so you can really see your diet is and all that other stuff. So another topic for another time. I talk about that from time to time.
Yeah. Having said that, if you get bit by a recluse, like, maybe go ahead and try that, but maybe also do other stuff because it can get real bad.
Yeah,
So,
well,
yeah.
try. Yeah,
And
if
if
you're
that
gonna
doesn't
go,
work,
go to the hospital anyway, but on the way, why don't you give it a shot? By the time you get there, like, oh my God, it's fine. You're like, no, that can't be possible. So
I
yeah,
don't
do
know. I
both.
don't know much about the one Aaron brought up, or, well, the second one, but the Mapacho one for a
Yeah.
necrotic spider bite. Do not rely completely on tobacco to get this out. It will not go good for you.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Make your own decisions. Be an adult here. I'm just saying, if you got multiple options on the way to the hospital, wherever your methods are, these are additional avenues that are.
maybe blow some nicotine on it and drink some PP while you go to the hospital. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. It's legit. You heard it here. Expand understanding, episode 50. Let's see.
Best
We
advice
just
we've
got
given on the entire show. Blow smoke on your wound and drink some PP while you go to the hospital. It's very safe advice.
awesome. Very good advice. Just said, Feely, Brittany, and Kevin, after leaving religion, I went into recluse mode. It tends to do that. A lot of times we're losing religion, you lose. I mean, I've unfortunately some of the most beautiful people I've known my whole life. When I expanded my understanding of my beliefs, lost a lot of friendships, unfortunately, because that seems to be a lot of things people cohere around, and that tends to happen. So there's always new friends. You're in this community now, Jasmine. We love you. You've met a lot of people in here. We've talked. We've done after hours conversations with people in the group, like as a group, cool stuff that we've gotten into, and it's really cool. We're glad to have you here, and we're building a really cool community. And there's no religion to get kicked out of, because we don't have a doctrine, we don't have a religion except for unity and coherence.
Well, she left
Where?
the religion, so she could still run into the same problem if she
Oh,
wanted
well, I
to.
guess that's
Only
true.
it's not a religion. But
Yeah,
you
and
know
we
what I
have
mean.
open doors. Like, there's nothing to leave or come back to. If you're gone, you're gone.
Right.
If you come back, you come back. Like, there's no judgment. There's no signing papers. There's no paying
Yeah.
tithe.
A lot of people, when they do walk away from any type of, because church is more than just like a religion or a path of spirituality. It's basically a security network. And when a person steps away from a security network, they oftentimes then very much so keep to themselves while they slowly build a new security network, rather
Mm.
than just like, okay, well, not gonna stay with the wolf pack anymore, but I'm gonna go hang out with all these other wolves and see what happens. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's nice
So
when you can do that. Yeah. It's sometimes you kick that one herd and hope you don't get picked off where you find another one. Brittany asks, so Space Arrow likes to be peed on? By my own pee. This is a very distinct thing here. It's by your own urine. People are like, oh, so you're gonna drink my pee? No, you drink your own pee or don't. It's my own therapy, womb therapy. So that she said, just take it down. She said, wait, I thought this was a cult. I'm here for the damn cult. You know, if you want to call it a cult, go ahead. Every religion, every group really is kind of a new culture. Zach's talked about this, so call it whatever you want, man. I don't care.
I'm 100,000% an occultist. I mean,
No doubt.
We can look up the definition of that word, and you can just ask yourself whether you're an occultist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Brady said
doesn't
we
matter.
already
Whatever, we'll go to this one.
we already drank
Belief
clear Kool-Aid.
in the existence of secret, mysterious, or supernatural agencies. Do you believe in that?
Uh-oh.
Because if you believe in that, any of these things, if you believe that there are any secret agencies, we literally have people in the world that are called secret agents. Like they're a normal person, everybody knows about that. Mysterious agencies. What exactly does Social Security do with all of that money? Or supernatural agencies, starseeds much? Well, then, my friend, you are an occultist. And that also means that technically, even if you haven't joined a group of them, you are in your own cult because you practice occult arts. So, that's exactly what an occult is. So, you know, pretty sure everybody who comes to this channel, if they ain't in this cult, they're in their own cult, and it's really similar to ours. So.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Clear Kool-Aid, though, we have it if you'd like to drink some. I mean, we got plenty. We got all infinite amounts of clear Kool-Aid. So.
Is clear Kool-Aid water? What's clear Kool-Aid? I'm missing the joke.
It's, well, I guess kind of inside joke. Jasmine had referenced it with the, we drank the clear Kool-Aid, Zach. There's no going back. Another time that the cult question came up, basically, we kind of, I don't know, somebody like flaming me on fucking Facebook or something. And then Jasmine and other people started joking about this again. I think it was Brittany and Jasmine, I think, who were joking about it on there. Like, on this person, replies to this person about how, like, but they were here for the cult and that they wanted the Kool-Aid. And then I made some joke about it being clear Kool-Aid or something.
Gotcha. Thank you. Totally filled me in. Wonderful.
Yeah. So, and then, I mean, if we want to go to a cult instead, have on the screen here, of or relating to magic, astrology, or, this is great, any system claiming use or knowledge of secret or supernatural powers or agencies, or beyond the range of ordinary knowledge or understanding. Like, what is ordinary knowledge, really?
Yeah, no shit.
Right?
Mainstream knowledge? A history book that's approved by the education system? That's probably what that is. Ordinary.
I mean, technically, this would mean, and this is funny because it's also true, and why they have secret societies there, beyond the range of ordinary knowledge is exactly what they offer to you at any college or university in the entire fucking world.
Right.
They're cults too. Oh, shit.
Whoops. Uh-oh.
You get your diploma from your cult yet? I mean, you pay to be in those cults. You pay a bunch.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And you don't even get to be in the good part of it, you know, necessarily.
And a lot of times there's not even
You gotta
necessarily a
join the
job
right
ready for
fraternity
you.
or secret society that's the actual good part of the place.
Right, yeah, to actually get a job, actually get somewhere after you go to your 4-year cult.
Yeah.
You gotta join a second cult, the actual secret society or the actual just fraternity or something. You gotta have multiple cults go on to succeed in this world.
Yeah,
Well,
and I mean,
in
if you
the
wonder
previous
whether our government subscribe to any of this, remember that our president has been protected for quite some time by the Secret Service or the Central Intelligence Agency, which would, of course, collect knowledge that's beyond the range of ordinary knowledge or understanding, just like the FBI would, the Federal Bureau of Intelligence. So technically, all three of these things are acting cults. They're actually militarized cults that operate directly inside of our own country and inside of our own government, deeply integrated with them, up to and including being literally the fucking on the right and left hand shoulder of the figurehead of the country. So, you know, who, of course, there has been this long time rumor that probably isn't true, but it's a funny rumor existing in reality anyways, that there's like some book of secrets that when you become president, you can go and you can read the book of secrets because only like the president is able to know what's in this book of secrets. That means that this motherfucker gets initiated to leading a cult. That's literally what that means. If that is
Yeah,
true,
totally.
he gets initiated to leading a cult because he is the holder of the secrets. He is the holder of that which is beyond the range of ordinary knowledge or understanding. He is now mysterious. He is a man of mystery, right? Which takes us right back to secret agent. He's an agent of secrecy, a mysterious man. So, nevertheless, it's really all just a big
Secret
joke. This is the entire
agent
reason why they drove a
man.
fucking tank right through the fucking Waco compound and killed a bunch of innocent individuals that really ain't too different than yourselves. And realistically, why they might drive a tank over me one day. But guess what? If they do that, I'm going to do it with a fucking smile on my face because I always kind of figured that was going to happen anyways. So, it's all
Dude,
good.
Willow caught the best quote ever. You have to have multiple cults going to succeed in this world. Space Jesus.
It's so true, though. True.
It is.
Like, it's all about the layering at this point. It always has been, but it really is at this point in time. So, egregors is another way of saying this. It's all about the egregors. So, watching a Waco thing tonight, oddly. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that so much whenever I watched even anything about the Branch Davidians, and especially the guy that was leading their stuff, like, I don't know, man, I just see so much of myself when I hear him talk about shit. You know what I mean? Like, they end up raiding his compound because they come crushing in there with fucking assault rifles and shit, aiming them at women and children, and then him and a couple of his buddy blast a couple of these cops. You come rushing into fucking my house pointing guns at my fucking women and children, I'm gonna fucking shoot you too.
Yeah, no kidding.
Sorry. The reality of the situation. Don't do that. If you don't want to
no
catch a
doubt.
bullet to the fucking teeth, don't come rushing into my house doing some shit like that. Because that's exactly what's going to happen. I don't care whether I'm going to end up in jail. I don't not murder people because of the jail sentence. I don't do it because I don't want to murder people.
Right.
That's the whole reason. I'm not afraid of the fucking jail sentence. Oh, but Zach, you're a skinny little white guy. You wouldn't last a day in jail. Fine. I don't give a fuck. Okay. Whatever. That's fine. So, and also
throw 'em
not
into the
true,
situation.
by the
Right.
way, because, I mean, the first time that I was ever
'Cause you
inside
know
of
how
a
to
jail
operate
has already
within multiple
happened.
cults.
So, yeah. Whatever.
Did you join multiple cults in order to succeed, Zach?
No, I
Inside
wasn't in there
jail?
long enough to need to do that.
Nice. Even better.
Really, honestly. But
Yeah.
if I had been in there for longer, yes, I would have joined multiple cults to succeed, undoubtedly.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you got to find some kind of unity or group or something. I don't think anybody lasts very long on their own, Jill. I mean, I
Try
don't
and
know.
find
I've
all
been
the
there,
unity.
but right.
All the unity, man. I'll unify all of the tribes inside of that. Then we fucking riot. We take over that motherfucking prison. We free ourselves.
Yeah, man. Fuck yeah. Unity, one
Dude,
way or another.
that's the thing.
Liberation.
Dude, this is,
Yeah.
Okay, I don't do
100%.
things that would ever get me sent to jail for a long time, but they don't want to put me in a jail for a long time because I will fucking gather all those prisoners together and take that bitch over 100,000%. If you take my life away and give me nothing to do but sit in a prison and figure out how to
Yep.
plot against you, it's what I'm going to do with
Yep.
my life. 100,000%. I'll happily, openly admit this. You can go ahead and give me the charges for whatever it is for trying to break out of jail or inciting riots or whatever right now. That's fine.
Yeah.
I've always been inciting riots. That's literally what my entire fucking life is. That's why it's just so
Yeah.
funny. This recent fucking Facebook post where people are like, "You're telling people to do nothing." Like, dude, I've been inciting riots my whole life. If I'm telling you not to do anything, you should be super curious about why I'm saying
Yeah,
that.
no doubt.
I've spent 20 fucking years saying riot, revolt, riot, revolt, riot, revolt. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, look, sit around and do nothing. And people are like, oh my God, he doesn't care about black people. What?
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? Whatever. Wrote Shawshank
Right.
Redemption? Yeah, that's a pretty funny reference, honestly. My mom loved that movie.
I love
Really
that
good.
movie. No, it's funny. Yeah, because I've thought about that too. Like, and it's funny the way you said it is really what it is. I know the type of being I am, and if I'm pinned in a corner, game over. Everything around me will change. Best thing they can do is let me do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Gives me multiple avenues to output. So I'm stuck into a corner. Yeah, it's game over. Shit changes around me. I make it change.
There's not. I would get bored. That's the only reason that I need. Literally, I
Right.
would get
No
bored
shit.
sitting there all day long. After like a month of meditation, I'd be like, nah, I'm
Yep.
kind of over that. And then, then what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go make friends, and we're gonna do friend things, which
Yep.
inside of there is, Anyways, so
I got you.
yeah, bad subject. Not going to happen anyways. Hopefully, we
Yep.
actually overthrow the entire function of the judicial system and completely rewrite it inside of this
Yes.
country with one based off of constitutional law, not one based off of maritime law that requires the citizens of the country to actually be separated and identified as corporations held in their name, which without your knowledge they ask you to stand for and then hold you subject to punishments that are not even actually leviable against you as a constitutional citizen of the country, but rather against a corporation that you have been entrapped into standing for. It is a gigantic pile of shit. The entire thing needs a fucking enema. The whole Supreme Court needs an enema, and every goddamn circuit court going all the way down to some bullshit little county court in a county that no one ever goes to, all of them need completely reworked from the books up. The problem with justice is that it's a system based off of logic that operates in an illogical way. That's a problem. There isn't logic inside of law at this point in time. Not inside of maritime law. There is people trying to position themselves to have the best advantage. So they are changing the rules. That's all there is. And if you play against the rules right, or you utilize the rules right, all of a sudden, a la O.J. Simpson, suddenly a black guy can be privileged too. What do you know? Weird. It's actually about whether or not you exploit the rules properly. It's not about where you came from, what your color is. Well, he could only buy those because, the football and, I mean, everybody's got a reason for some shit. You know why you always got a reason that sounds ridiculous and can be batted away immediately? Because you're wrong. That's what that means. You're wrong. It has nothing to do with this. It has absolutely nothing to do with racism. If you really want to actually converse with me about this and you see otherwise than me, feel free to message me. And if your stance is in any way, shape, or form that I'm only saying this because I'm a white dude, I will happily link you to the 10 or so videos that I have on file right now of black individuals coming from all types of different locations saying exactly the fucking same thing that I say. So, it's fine. It's not just me. It's all the people who see through the apocryphic veil that has been placed before you by the great powers that be that have been trying to keep us under an apocryphal veil for a long time. Guess what, boys? Your veil sucks. We pierced it. It's over with.
Yep.
To, give some... I sense that Frank and him don't get along as well anymore, but to give some respect to Chris Gio and the things that he did do in his own way, we have gone beyond the veil. And we have come back.
100%.
And we didn't bother to close the door when we came back in. We didn't.
Yeah.
We bring you a message now to expand your understanding. Become fearless.
Come on.
It's
unite the tribe.
This shit is ridiculous. There's no reason to be living in this world where you give your power away to everybody else. You're literally an infinite projection of primordial creation. You are magic. Personified.
Beautiful.
Stop. Seriously, stop giving your power away. Stop buying into victim mentalities like the idea of a white privilege. White privilege is the entire idea sold by the left to keep blacks feeling like victims. Blacks aren't victims. Blacks are a powerful people. Blacks aren't even a people. They're dark brown, and they're just fucking humans. To even delineate them by the color of their skin is to buy into the racism. What do you mean Black Lives Matter? That's a fucking racist thing to say. It delineates by race. It's ridiculous. This is all preposterous. Everyone's life matters. We need to pay attention to every single case where life is not being treated as mattering because life is literally matter. They are intrinsically linked functionally. Your life matters. My life matters. Everybody's life matters. I'm not saying this. I'm not doing the the all lives matter as the other side of it. That's a fucking. This is a fucking doctrine as well that's pushed upon you. This is not the thing either. These are two sides fighting against each other. They want the blacks versus the alls, so they put both of them out there for people to subscribe to. I'm not talking any of that shit. I'm not subscribing to any of that. That's all ridiculous. That's all a ridiculous fucking diatribe postulated just to keep you pushed into a Hegelian dialectic so they can know what you're going to do before you do. Stop. Don't buy the hype. Don't buy the wolf tickets. Do your own research. Talk to real people. Believe what's in your real life. Not what you watch on some type of programming or broadcasting. Believe what is in your real life. Look for yourself. The world ain't that bad of a place. The world's a pretty good place. Go talk to your neighbors about stuff that they like, and you'll see real easy that, later that night, you're hanging out in the backyard, cracking some beers, having a nice little barbecue, talking about the things that both of you like, and you realize all of a sudden, oh my God, my neighborhood just got a little bit more unified, simply because I decided to go over to my neighbor, and instead of just being like, hey, turn your fucking music down, I went like, hey man, like, what kind of music do you like? How you into it? You know what I mean? Like, what do you do with it? These kinds of things. Okay?
My Romanian uncle Dragos always said the best thing you can do is be a good neighbor. Just be a good neighbor, man. Get to know your neighbors. Just be a 100%. Good neighbor, because they're going to look out for you. They're going to look out if your place is stolen or if something's shifty going on. They're going to call you because you're a good neighbor.
And let's be clear, neighbor does not mean the person who lives in the house next to yours. Neighbor means the people around you.
Yep.
The people who are next to you.
Yeah. The person in front of you. Love the one in front of you. Love the one you're with.
If you're at Walmart and you're walking past somebody, that's your neighbor.
Yep.
In that moment, that's your neighbor. So, yeah. We have to be good to each other. If we don't be good to each other, then the goodness in the world is gone. But if you, even just one person is good, then the goodness is not gone, and it can grow again. And I assure you that the goodness ain't just in one person. Oh, Jasmine, you fortunately have great neighbors. Guess what? Like, everybody here has great neighbors for the most part. 99% of neighbors are actually pretty great. And then 1% of them are fucking Karen trying to call the manager all the time because she watches too much goddamn news. That's exactly what I'm talking about. She's sold some type of fucking divisive agenda. She sold a haircut. She sold a whole bunch of products. And now she's probably walking around with a fucking kente cloth, kneeling down with a mask over her face that says, I can't breathe, pretending that she's actually supporting or in some way protesting the death of a black man to police. That's all a complete fucking sham. A, dude is not dead. B, those weren't police. What do you mean, black guy killed by the police? Not dead, not police. Didn't happen. Fuck you, Karen. Exactly as Willow had to say. Fuck you, Karen.
Fuck you, Karen.
This is why
we don't need that type of nonsense around here. Divisive nonsense just for the sake of being divisive and trying to place yourself on a podium in some way, which is exactly what Karen does. We don't need that type of fucking noise around here. We don't. They can go ahead and do that somewhere else. That's fine. But don't try to bring it all over the place. I don't know whether you guys saw it. There's some video from the other day that started floating around social media. There's a Karen, a typical Karen, white Karen, and she's inside of a convenience store telling a Native American woman to go back to her damn country. Let me run that by you one more time. She's telling a person of Native American, which is a racist term, tribes, original tribes located here in the Americas. She's a direct descendant from that, and she was telling her to go back to her country. The one she's standing in, right?
Yeah,
this is her country. They were the ones that were here first, right? So that's fucking ridiculous, first and foremost. But the best part of it was that she started getting more and more uppity, and then she tried to get in this person's face, and then she made the unfortunate mistake of pushing this Native American girl that was, much younger than her and in much better shape. And she just got fucking slapped upside the fucking head so hard. It was so fucking, it was honestly just
perfect.
Oh my God. It was exactly how I wanted the video to end. You watch those videos and you're like, damn, this girl's kind of a bitch. I wish somebody would slap her in the fucking head. Right. And no one does. In this case, she does. So, it was wonderful. And then the lady's all like, oh, and like the guy filming is like, also on the side of the other person, but clearly not with the person, the Native American woman, or whatever word we were supposed to use for that. And the Native American woman is there with some other guy who's just minding his own business. He's not getting into the middle of the fucking shit. He lets them squabble it out or whatever. So he's not getting all uppity. He could be being disrespectful as well. The clerk at the counter, he's not being all uppity. The only person in the store being uppity is fucking Karen, who has a problem with somebody not being in their own country when literally Karen's fucking ancestors stole the fucking country from the girl
Whoops.
that she's saying to go back to your country. What are you talking about? Like,
Whoops.
what planet are you fucking coming from? This is ridiculous. And I'm sorry, right? I would like to point out this is I've been doing this and I shouldn't be doing this. Okay, Jen's mom's name is Karen. Jen's mom is a perfectly fine person. This whole idea of calling this thing a Karen puts a bad taste in the mouth of people who are named Karen when Karen might be a perfectly fine person. So I shouldn't be doing this, and I outwardly and publicly apologize for slandering Karens of the world, honestly. I really do it kind of tongue in cheek, right? We call that, it's a
Yeah.
meme. It's a meme, but realize that that meme is also divisive. And at my core,
Yeah.
I do not support that meme. And I don't support the idea of classifying people into little micro sects so that we can say that one is better than the other. We're all a big group of humans, and we're all a big group of earthlings. And us, the plants, the animals, the fucking air, the water, everything is working together inside of this ecosystem to make this ecosystem be the best that it can be. And if you're not like unifying yourself on that level, you're practicing some type of classism that you will inevitably engage. It's just the reality of the situation. We are all like you scope out literally just to the moon, and everything on the planet is basically one fucking thing because of the size of it. You ain't even got to go that far away. You know what I mean? Like it's ridiculous. You don't need any of the like divisiveness.
You don't
How
need
the
you don't need negative alien invaders, like Reagan said and the presidents have said, for us to unite. Really, even just what Zach said, like think of picturing us from the moon or just far away. We're all one people, man. It's not that hard to grasp. Really, we don't need an enemy to unite against. We just need to come into unity for
you just need to
unity's sake.
unite.
It's not that hard. We don't
Yeah,
need an enemy. Jesus
There
Christ, come
are
on.
enormous benefits to unity. Enormous.
Yep.
Like you don't need more for it. You don't need a reason. The benefits are the reason.
Yeah, man. And
You
just
don't
unifying with
need
other
more of a
human beings
reason.
is such a beautiful thing. I mean, the community we have in the group and communities that you find, man, just unifying and finding
You realize
coherence among others.
we have what we consider to be basically, a certain form of mental health pandemic in the world, which is depression. Most people's depression is generated from a feeling of loneliness, really actually down a thing. They don't feel like they are part of something, or they don't feel like they have the ability to become part of something, right?
Yeah.
Unity, not engaging with divisiveness, cures this pandemic. What if we could cure hunger by simply not ignoring the hungry kids? Would we do it? The answer is no. That's why we have not gotten rid of the hunger problem. Sucky answer, huh? But a true story, nevertheless. Right? However, it should be noted that the level of poverty in the world, as measured by the only people who are bothering to do these measurements, is significantly lower than it was like 30-something years ago. So we aren't there yet, but some people are working on it. And if we give those some people enough time, I bet you they do the job because they actually care. They're going to do the job.
I don't know if he's just a researcher or what his credentials are, but he spent a lot of time researching the drug addiction problem and how we treat it as a criminal offense versus a healthcare problem. His name's Johan Hari, and he's done several TED Talks. But he talks about Rat City, or one of the experiments they were doing when they would give the rats, when they were just in a cage by themselves, and they give the rat the option of opioid-laced water and regular water, that they would definitely heavy on the side of opioid water, to their own detriment, and whatever that looked like. However, when they created Rat City, they were trying to create the optimal environment where rats would be happy, all sorts of interconnection, other rats, toys, tubes, all whatever they had. And they gave them the option, the same thing, of opioid water and regular water. And they barely ever, ever, ever touched the opioid water because they were satiated within their community. To oversimplify it, but really that dynamic, having unity amongst others, there's less isolation, there's less desire to numb the pain or the loneliness.
I would really like to thank you for sharing this experiment. I had never even heard of this. And It totally matches my hypothesis. So maybe I'm in cognitive bias land, and that's why I feel good. But
Yay.
nevertheless, it does feel
Well, it's
good
nice. No,
hearing that because I'm like, I
no
told
doubt,
you, it's
man.
not the fucking
Come on.
drugs. It's the
Fuck
reason
yeah.
why the people do the drugs. Look,
That's right.
I might come off to you as like a smart person or an educated person. I come from the trap, from the ghetto, from crack
Mm.
shacks, from fucking people with passing out with needles hanging out of their arm and shit. Not me. I didn't like needles personally, but I come from like a terrible place like that. I know why
Mm.
people do drugs because I was around them, boots on the
Yeah.
ground. Not because I read a book, not because I was educated somewhere, but because I know a lot of fucking junkies. Straight
Yeah.
up. I
Right.
know a lot of them by first name. They know me too. We have respect for one another. They've taught me some of the greatest things in my life.
Yeah.
Just because they're a junkie, that doesn't mean they're not a fucking genius. It means that they do
Yep.
drugs. And that probably comes from a reason that they feel that they are in some way, shape, or form segregated from their society. Because oftentimes they also aren't benefiting from any type of like privilege or anything. They're literally they're dealing with struggles like other people, and if you can care
Yep.
about them like other people, you will see that they're not that fucking different than other people. And the reason why they're making decisions that are sabotaging themselves is the same reason why everybody makes decisions to sabotage themselves. Is because at some level they don't like themselves, and you can help them like themselves. Then they stop doing drugs. They make better decisions. They help the people around them. They build communities. They build
Yeah.
better tools. They generate novelty. They generate positive experiences. They create. That's literally all it takes. Literally all it takes. You don't have to go
Yeah.
out there and heal the world. You have to go out there and provide the person the opportunity to be accepted and recognized. That's really all that
Yeah.
almost all of them need. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that there isn't some type of major psychological disorders that do need a little bit more hands-on care. Those definitely exist. I definitely work with people who have these. Right? So
Mm.
I'm firsthand, again, boots on the motherfucking ground, understand that. Exactly. I understand what it is like to work with, and even in my own cases, engage with a person that has schizophrenia or that
Yeah.
has other types of disorders, bipolar disorders, or massive anxiety disorders. People
Hmm.
that are sitting inside this chat right now could attest to my knowledge on anxiety disorders because they had massive anxiety disorders and now they run podcasts on here every single day, something they never would have fucking done. Never, ever, 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 ever. Because
Yeah.
I understand these things because I've had boots on the fucking ground. I was raised around a mother who had massive anxiety, and we talked about it all the time as she tried to navigate her mind. And then I met tons of anxious people after that, too. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I've been boots on the ground with this shit. The world is a
And I
good
want.
place. The world is an intrinsically good place.
And I want to say second to anyone who in here has struggled with addiction or judgment because of that, or past addiction or anything. You are so welcome here in your story and anyone's. There's no shame in a background. Like we're all finding coherence. We're all finding healing. I mean, this is the what. I mean, what you don't really have a community if those places, if there's things that aren't allowed or you can't talk about it. I get it. If like anyway, my point is we love you guys and we're making this all happen together. And so there's no history or past that's too bad or too fucked up. I mean, if you're seeking resolution for yourself and healing and community, then awesome, you found one. And there's many others, I'm sure. But if you're here hearing this, we love you, and we're glad you're here.
Yeah, and if you're really seeking it, I encourage you to actually reach out and grab it. Because just because you're
Mm,
seeking something doesn't mean you'll actually take advantage of it when it's right in front of you. You might do something
mm,
to stop yourself from doing that because you
mm.
don't think that you deserve it. You do deserve it. You are worth it.
Yeah,
You are
100%.
intrinsically worth it because you exist. And I don't care what you did. I literally do not care what you did. Honestly, like if you came to me with your darkest truths, you probably share a story. I would just resonate with your story and deal with you one to one. But if I went
Yep.
about things this way, I could just tell you a story that was worse. Like I've been around some
Hmm.
fucked up shit. Fucked up shit. If you can come to me with a story that's worse than the shit that I've experienced, I will fucking tip my hat to you because that's crazy. That's crazy
Mm.
that you actually were engaged with that. That is crazy. But is know that I've been bad places too. A lot of good people have been really bad places, and
Yeah.
if you're
Yep.
here hearing this, you're probably one of them, man. If you feel like
Yep.
you've been in a bad place, so There ain't nothing wrong with being in a bad place. Bad place oftentimes makes the best people, but they got to get out of the bad place, and they do that by engaging themselves and by actually caring about themselves and by choosing to make the world a better place for themselves, which generally leads to them also making the world a better place for other individuals.
Yeah. Yep. Amen, brother. Space Jesus approves. Espacio Jesus Cristo. Muy
Yeah, or
bueno.
like, as like Masters of the Universe guy said, I have the power, right? That's just what you gotta do. You gotta raise your sword up to the sky and scream, "I have the power," and believe it, and then take responsibility for wielding that motherfucker because now you can carve reality any way you want. Huh?
Yeah.
Stop waiting for somebody else to save you. Save your damn self.
You are the one you've been waiting for.
Yeah,
It's true.
100%.
Yep.
There's a whole lot of aspects that we can look at, the twinning of reality and the polarizations of ourselves, basically, and these kinds of things, the feminine and masculine sides. But at the end of the day, it's all one thing, man. Like, it all coagulates into one place. It's fucking you.
Yep.
Brittany
posted something. Brittany Rayona Faye in the chat posted something today. She said there's a quote she quoted from Baal Shem Tov, which I believe is a Hebrew text. She said, "Let me fail if I must fall, or let me fall if I must fall. The one I am becoming will catch me." Dig it.
That's a good trust thing, I think. Hard to actuate that trust in certain situations, no doubt about that. So anybody that ever had trouble trusting themselves in a place where they feel like they're falling, you have my compassion. That shit is hard.
And that's what you have community for. It's infinitely more enjoyable, more fun, and easier to create, co-create, and out-create our circumstances with others. We got to do our own work.
You don't need to.
Oh, for sure.
Also, like,
sure.
with the community there, you don't even need to do any of that because you're like, oh man, I broke up with my girlfriend. I feel like shit. I'm gonna go check out the live stream or whatever. And then like an hour into the live stream or whatever's going on, right? You're engaging with whatever the community is, and you're having such a good time. And you're like, wait a minute. For like the last 30 minutes, that person did not even run across my mind.
Yep,
right?
perfect.
Hey, problem's already solved then, buddy. The question is, are you gonna bring it back up again? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No doubt. And that's what I mean. Even having community too, Rat City, right? So you don't have to go to the opioids or the water or be alone. You can go be with others. Doesn't mean you have to bring all your problems, or you can. I mean, sometimes that's appropriate and it's helpful in some dynamics, sure.
Maybe
but in general,
drink the clear Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Maybe clear Kool-Aid is opioid water. I don't know. I
don't know.
Who knows?
11:11, or it was a minute ago. That means it's 12:12 somewhere else. Good times.
Yeah. At 11:11 this morning, I was very focused into recognizing that I was at a conjunction point.
Do tell.
Yeah. Oh, there's nothing to tell. I was super just dialed in, being there in that moment. Just
awesome.
Because of what day it is, and then it was also that time. So
yeah.
It's pretty dialed in on that one. Oh, by the way, Kevin, so Aaron got me the Captain plugins for my birthday.
Happy birthday, big brother.
I'm probably gonna end up buying the other one too, even though I probably should.
You probably should, because you got the other one gifted to you, so it's like, all right.
Yeah, I probably should, but I probably shouldn't. This is a tough one. It's a tough one. Flip a coin. If I do the coin trick thing on it, then I buy the thing. You know what I mean?
And then, but if it's a no, see how you feel afterwards. You're like, no, fuck that, I'm buying it. That's fine too.
Yeah, I just already know that if I flip the coin, the whole Jordan Peterson, if you flip a coin, you'll fucking know while it's in the air which one you actually want to do.
Exactly.
I would be like, I should buy it. I hope it lands on the buy one.
Yep. Awesome. I'm so stoked, man. That whole thing is like, what a great daily thing. I mean, we talk about in the group a lot, but even outside the group, and it's really cool. I've still been doing the different D&B tracks with binaural beats and trying that out in different ways. And yeah, there's always new layers. That shit, I don't see that getting boring anytime fast, especially if we are creating our own music as a community. It's fucking awesome.
Oh man, this thing is so amazing, man. Since I'm already talking about it, I'll put on the screen here.
Yeah.
But the whole idea, so you see here how this thing's basically set up. So it really like you can so this is a normal way that Ableton operates anyways, where you can like draw in beats. This little timeline that's here in the center that has all the little reds on it and the piano keys and shit, right? So
Yeah.
but this thing will just automatically generate chord progressions for you. But then there's just enormous amounts of different ways. So you can manually edit it as well, right? And then you can also do the automations with these rhythms already beat into them that are like these. These are the simple rhythms, and there's also more complex rhythms that are not being showed here, that basically just on every offbeat chord change, every beat or every measure, end up basically like handling the change differently, basically.
Yeah.
And then basically any VST plugin, which is like a synthesizer or an instrument or anything like that, can be used in line with this. So you're making a melody, but you can play that melody with any instrument. And there's also this, I don't even know what this rhythm record one does. It just comes with it. I haven't even looked at it.
I don't know. Yeah, bummer.
You can identify any chord as well with this thing, which is handy if you're like bringing in other stuff.
Yeah. Keep it all in the same key or in tune.
This shows like what spacing does. Did I show?
The coolest feature.
Get over here.
It's different amounts of space between your notes.
So the whole idea
this is called note length, but we've taken this idea further
really
and created 8 different settings that
separates
the
space in between when a note hits, right?
But
this program specifically has kind of gone a creative way of going about it, and you have the ability to basically randomize how that space operates.
And you can make guitars that sound like they're really being played by a guitarist,
all right,
or progressions like they're being played by a live keyboardist. Let's take a look at the 8 different settings. Smart legato. The term legato means without gaps. With smart legato, all notes start at full length and shorten identically as you increase the amount. If you have different length notes in your original pattern, they will all shorten until the shortest note hits the minimum note length. After that, any remaining long notes will continue to shrink until they too reach minimum length. Smart legato keeps short. Just like smart legato, increasing this setting shortens each note by the same amount. However, this time the shortest notes in the original progression will stay at their original length. If a progression has a mixture of 8th and 16th notes, only the 8th notes will be affected because they are the shortest. If the progression is made up of 8th notes, the amount knob has no effect because there are no shorter notes to affect.
Makes sense.
It should be noted that if you don't like at least know some music theory, he's already said a bunch of stuff that you're like, all right, I don't know what that means. And that's the best thing about programs like this.
Yeah,
whoever made it really does know that, and they've provided you with a bunch of drop-down lists and knobs that you can just sit there and fuck around with till you're like, yeah, that sounds sick. You know?
No doubt. Dude.
You don't have to know shit about music, really.
Smart legato, keep long. You guessed it. This is the opposite of smart legato, keep short. With keep long, the longest notes will remain
unaffected. This is very commonly
whatever
used
the amount
in
set.
very poppy music, like like that legato, but keeping the long notes long. Because this is anytime you get in like EDM, where you get this like boop 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 boom, boop 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 boom, boop boop boop. That kind of idea. That's doing that.
Percentage.
Yeah.
With this set to 0, all notes are.
So that's one module of the thing. I'm actually just gonna go back up here, and no, that's not the one. This is probably like the intro video to the whole thing. It's 1:55.
Awesome.
Welcome to Captain Chord's version 5. You now have the ability to edit MIDI notes directly within Captain Chords. This lets you experiment and find unique chord progressions in seconds. Try splitting a chord and moving a note to create a passing chord. Or move notes around in real time until you find the perfect chord progression for your song.
This is all the plugins.
We've added plugin hosting. Run your favorite software instruments directly within Captain Chords.
But well, it's really more like I guess you would call it a plugin, but since there's already other things called plugins and you can use those plugins in unison with this, I mean, it kind of is. This is kind of the standard with Ableton, though, is that if you have, you chain effects together or synthesizers or instruments or whatever.
So that you always have access to your signature sound within one plugin. We've added beautiful new chords and made them even more accessible with a slick new user interface.
Man.
Let's start by adding some chords or selecting one of the many preset chord progressions. We can then enhance our chord progression by using various sound shaping tools. Inversion ensures you have full control over the voicing, which helps to prevent unwanted leaps between the chord changes. Turning up the complexity adds thickness to your chords by doubling up the notes. This makes them sound really fat and warm.
Really fat.
With timing, you can quickly switch between hundreds of preset timing templates.
Wow.
This will help you write more exciting chord progressions in seconds. Space, strum, and swing allow you to humanize and tweak your chord progressions even further, making them sound more memorable in your songs. Add your own custom rhythm in real time with Rhythm Record. Then find the perfect timbre for your song from hundreds of ultra-modern sound presets. Captain Chords version 5 has everything you need to create hit records. And with its super fast workflow, you can achieve amazing results in minutes.
Ridiculous. Like, honestly, to know the music theory that it would take to do part of that shit, like, you would need to fucking...
Oh, yeah.
You'd need to learn for a while, right? Like, I don't know, I don't got all that.
Reading through the comments.
Oh yeah, when he brought up the excellent DJ thing, and
Yeah.
like you could have a lot of fun with the controller, basically just like learning how to DJ, right?
Yeah.
And so like how to mix songs together, because like this gets you like to know the music in a way that it like you are interfacing with the music without having to make the music, right? You're making the music go together, which is music in and of itself.
Totally.
And, like, I mean, Kevin is definitely very aware of this. Some producers are, other ones not so much. But like, smart producers make that operate in places where the music is commonly mixed, which is basically every EDM spectrum. So they make their music so that it mixes well, right? Like it has lead-ins and lead-outs, and like
Right.
interesting things happen during there that people can kind of build around, and you really can create kind of this like. So you're not building all the pieces of land, but you're all the bridges in between the pieces of land, right? And having really nice bridges in between the pieces of land makes all the land seem like a better place. You know what I mean? So like a good DJ mixing can make a bunch of bad tracks sound good part of the time in a certain sense.
Yeah.
And a good DJ with good tracks really just takes everything to a next level where it's like, well, I mean, really properly done mixing, you'll sometimes not realize that the song changed, right? If you're the person mixing, you'll obviously know. You just did about 1,000 things to make sure that happened. But if you're the person listening to it, like, that's kind of the goal of, like, a really good mix in a certain sense, is that all the way up until the point where you're going to really, like, let them have it with the new song, they don't realize the new song is coming. Just kind of suddenly it's there.
Right.
Wait a minute, they already have a bunch of these elements.
Yeah.
What's
Love
the
that
sound
shit.
clip from the other day, Jacob? Are you talking about recording shit like from up in the tubes and stuff? Or I'm not sure what sound clip
I
you're
think he was
talking
referring
about.
to that like 24-second sound clip. The thing you were asking if it could be a track. I think that's what he's referring to.
Oh, yeah. If that,
Yeah,
which one are you referring to? Let me know, and I'll tell you what happened to both of them. I can just tell you what happened to both of them. One of them has been transferred to my computer. I've done absolutely nothing with it. That's the raws that come from up at the tube and shit. And the other one is sitting exactly the same way as it was. It's one of basically like 3 quality grooves that I've created over the last couple days that I feel like are probably worth like making into a track. So, you know, it's been readied for my upcoming LP that apparently I'm creating now that I didn't know I was going to be doing. But nevertheless,
Awesome.
it's probably a thing that's happening. So
You said the one in the comment feed, the messenger feed. It was a 24-second clip.
Yeah, that was one of the 3 grooves that I'm talking about. Yeah, I came up with one that I'm actually even more interested in that might actually have a crossover element to that same one. I don't remember actually. I have my DAW set up with just like an enormous amount of samples set into it right now, and I've just
Yeah.
been like fucking around with mixtures between the samples that I currently have to feel stuff that like rhythm and timing wise feels like it goes together well and has like interesting elements, and then you can work off of those elements with all kinds of filters and chops and reversing shit around and adding layering shit, all kinds of fucking shit. Let's hear it. I can't play it easily through here. It's not exported out to any kind of MP3 or anything. It plays actually through Ableton, and Ableton uses, well, in order to get full value out of Ableton when you have an XLR interface, you have to use a different kind of audio driver. It's called an ASIO for all driver, and that totally takes over the audio of the system, and StreamYard does not interface with it. More accurately, Google Chrome does not interface with the ASIO driver. So producing noises inside of Chrome and producing noises inside of Ableton at the same time is an impossibility.
So have to wait until you finish it or export it or actually do something we can open up in Chrome at some point?
If we want it on StreamYard, yes. Or it needs to be streamed through like OBS or something like that that doesn't have to work out of Chrome.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think everybody wants to hear it, and I would love to hear it, but I know we can't do it right now, so just put that in the vortex.
It's literally like a 20-second groove and hasn't had anything else done with it.
Yes, but you made it, Zach. You're the one who created that. That's why it matters. Everybody wants to hear it. Right, guys? Everyone wants to hear it. Everyone wants to hear it.
It's certainly pretty interesting. I have to give, hand it to the quality of the samples that I have found in places and the people who created those. That's like a whole part that there are elements that I've already been creating, but for the most part, like I'm using things that other people created, so I have to give a hand to them. But at the same time, like the fucking sounds that I'm using don't sound anything like the sounds that I got because they're totally changed.
Yeah.
So, but they are in the same chord progressions and shit like that. That's kind of why I'm like really interested in getting this chord progression thing, is because I kind of realized basically what I'm using from people's samples that I want to like download off the internet or would maybe get like a subscription somewhere to get samples are basically I'm just using their chord progressions. That's really all I'm using, because I'm then like retuning whatever instrument is inside of it to have the sound that I want functionally anyways. And so it'll be much more cost effective over time to be able to create my own fucking chord progressions and sounds and shit like that than sit there and pay for fucking samples from other people. That's for fucking sure, because not gonna lie, I'm gonna need a lot of them, boys. I'm gonna need a lot of them. So this could turn into a thing that like I get a little stupid how prolific it gets at some point in time. If I was in a place where I felt like just like a lot of money was coming in, and so that like thinking about money ideas or needing to do anything to make money ever is 100% not a thing.
Totally.
And I'm already like completely set up with all of my shit. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. I could see myself making fucking 150 tracks in 1 year or something like that. I could totally see that happening.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Well, yeah, that sounds awesome, right? That feels good. Like gotta put that in the vector, and like we're just gonna head towards that. And all these steps are steps along the way.
I'm pretty sure I'm unfortunately going to come to find out that when I was fucking 17 years old and wanted to become a DJ, I should have just done it.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. And, I'm both
looking
forward
late
to
than
that
ever,
future
bro.
And also going, well, that fucking sucks. I totally could have done this when I was 17.
Yeah, but now you're going to have a whole additional bunch of layers and technology and shit that's going to be a whole other thing, because it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it always goes the right way, you know what I mean? But still, it's just so weird, because like back then, very much so, I was like, fuck, man, I don't know, I really like what I'm doing here. Like I was already playing around with DJing back then, and this is producing and shit, but it would have led to that anyways, because the DJs that I liked were producers, so.
Yeah, which is it's awesome, man. 'Cause it's like bringing coherence to your entire life experience. Ooh, it rhymes too. Bring it all back, man. And then we get to do it. We get to do all that stuff you're doing. Then we get to do this as a group and a collective. Once Kevin gets his Twitch channel going, and we can start doing this stuff really, collabing and just chatting on that channel. I'm stoked for that too. That'll be a whole fun avenue. Totally
Yeah.
different vibe. And everyone's welcome to that too. It'll be primarily doing music and shit, but if you're into it, man, we're into it too, and that'd be awesome to have you
we
a part of it.
decided the people who watch on YouTube are not allowed to watch on Twitch.
You cannot come over.
You cannot come. We will ban you.
You got to get a pseudonym. You got to get a fake name. I just got a name. I don't even have an avatar. I couldn't even figure out. Well, I was on my phone. I couldn't even figure out how to put a picture on there. We didn't even mess with it much. We just decided to do YouTube instead of Twitch. But
Oh.
yeah, so I'll put on Kevin. You got to get that going, Kev.
By the way, we totally won't actually ban you. You are very welcome, and without
Yeah.
like you guys coming and helping, it will literally just be us sitting there talking to ourselves. So please come.
Yeah. Which actually, that's one though would be fun because then the people who come are interested in some way, so they're engaged, and some totally outside of all the other stuff. And then I think that's the one where we can totally nerd out because it's not so much about, the audio, that's specifically about music. So we can just totally nerd out. We'll find other people who nerd out, and we'll all nerd out together. It'd be fucking great.
Yeah, from looking around and seeing that there is some people that do stream like music production like that occasionally, and then like watching what they've streamed and the live chats that they've had, they get some pretty fucking knowledgeable people inside their chat. It's kind of
Cool. Awesome. That'd be more helpful. We can all build together.
Yeah,
Sounds
I mean,
great.
Kevin might know more than them, but really, honestly, like if a person got like a
Yeah,
music
probably.
lesson out of a Cracker Jack box, they probably know more than me. So
No, I think you know
Speaking-
more than me.
speaking
that would
of
apply to me.
devils,
It's on warehouse.com.
what's up, Kevin?
What up?
Kev?
What up?
All right, I'll go video with you, Kev. I was cohering with Zach, but I'll cohere with you in video now.
Oh shit! I could have just gone like not even on. I shouldn't have gone live and direct.
Too late.
Damn it!
Too late. Now we're engaged. Everybody gets to see your nice, pretty long hair shaved on the sides.
Straight
Kevin all curled up in his chair, man.
90 CEO, man. There's a program that I have that's called like Unison or some shit, and it's a similar principle. It's just not as a in-depth like GUI, and it doesn't have like 4 programs that run off of it. It's basically just the chords and that's it. So yeah, when I saw this, I was like, man, that's pretty dope. And anything.
Yeah, I need that good graphic user interface and lots of
Yep.
hand holding because I don't know shit.
Yep.
So
like yeah, man. Like,
I just know it sounds good. I know when I hear it, and I'm like, yeah, that's sick right there. That's my musical talent right there.
yeah, that's what's up. Because I mean, when it comes to hooks and things like that, I write them out myself. But traditional chords and notations, things like that, like I just wasn't trained that way. So a chord like writer, like something that would assist me in that process would definitely speed things up infinitely. And then sky's the limit, or not even the sky, and nothing's the limit. Really, like you're
the limit.
There you go.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt.
And
That's the coolest thing about sound, man.
Yep.
Like, really, it's just, fuck, it can be modulated so many different ways, and there's just so many different options that can be modulated so many different ways and put together at so many different timings, and it's just
Right.
fucking nuts. People don't even
So-
use most of music. You realize, like, most of music is 4/4 progression all the time. There's all kinds of wacky progressions that you never hear. There's
Sure,
fucking
right.
dudes out there doing 27/6. I don't even know what that sounds like.
I don't want to know what it sounds like.
I know, right? It's got to just sound like fucking what the fuck is going on here?
I
But
don't want
it is a thing.
I wonder how would that be different because you get into the high BPMs with D&B, but it's all halves and fours and 30 seconds, and I mean that makes sense to me. How would you do
That's
something?
because it's a 4/4 signature. 27/6 basically means that. So
right?
this kind of
Elaborate.
idea is that there's this many changes per change, and there's this many changes per many change or per major change. Is kind of the idea of what that little concept there is of this time signature, right?
Yep.
So you're basically saying, I'm going to go 4 times, and that's going to be 1, and I'm going to do 4 of those, and that's going to be 1. And so we're denoting the signature as 4/4, right?
Right.
So
That
you're kind of like saying that you're re-identifying 1 in 2 different dimensions at the same time by putting a slash in between the numbers, basically. We're making it a fraction, pretty much. So you're saying that, like, when I say 27/6, there would be 27 little changes per one major change, and there would be 6 major changes per movement, right? And that movement would be what you could understand as like a major change, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
wacky time signatures. This is why people don't use wacky time signatures.
Yeah, I was like, all right.
They use boom, 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 boom. Nice and easy for people to fucking pay attention to and figure out what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
So, like, there is one band though, like Tosin Abasi. He's a guitar player for Animals as Leaders. Like, he's a traditional jazz guitar player that plays shunt metal in these fucking crazy, ridiculous fucking like jazz like settings that he's brought to this genre of metal. That's just, I mean,
that's intense,
dude. I can appreciate it even though I can only listen to their album like once a year. Like, just like I get my overdose on that shit, and like it is intense, but like, I appreciate it, and you can totally hear and see like the jazz influence like within the metal construct. Like, it's the craziest shit, and the time signatures are just, I'm like, nope, like 3, 4, 4, like doing all that like off time, like just crazy, ridiculous shit that I'd fall down on. So like that guy's legit.
Even just triplet is weird, which operates off of 3s instead of 4s, basically. The whole thing, Aaron. Like, you don't realize, but your body is muscle memoried in a certain way to expect 4 things, and then a thing really happens. And like, it's fucking, when you start triplet, is like, it's a little hard at first for your brain to like, it feels like you're lagging all the time.
Love it.
Huh. Why would that be naturally? I mean, the tripod, the Trinity,
It's really just because we use this base 4 signature inside of sound, music particularly, so often.
So
really.
Yeah, it'd be like a kick, tom, like like repetitive over and over and over again, or
that would be triplet.
I love it. Or your paradiddles is left, right, left, right, left, right, like right. You can get crazy. It's called a paradiddle.
Huh. And that's an off timestamp.
It's just a rudiment, if you will, within drums.
Huh.
Quadruplets, triplets, like I love that shit. And then, of course, double drops. Love those too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a sick. Yeah, so Kevin,
what? It's back again?
Dude, yeah, it's like, it's awesome. It's awesome.
So what's
Kevin,
up?
When properly done, like that double dropping situation is really something to be appreciated, though, because you really like got that big fucking chemical rise out of it, just all coming together. And the moment that thing wears off, the fucking beat breaks, and the whole thing fucking happens again. You're just like, ah!
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome, especially when you come across it in like a random mix or like an hour mix or somewhere in the middle or whatever, someplace you just notice it and it's just fucking incredible.
Yeah, that's right. Andy C is synonymous for doing quadruple drops. Like fucking no other DJ I know fucking does that shit. Like,
okay, send me one of those. I want to hear what that's like.
Okay, I sent you the Holy Ghost, right?
I don't know. Send it to me again. Listen to most stuff you sent through.
That's the video synced up to like his. With like Skip It a B as the MC, and it's a preacher.
Oh, okay, that's him on there doing the music on that.
Andy C's on the decks, like yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. Let's see, Andy C. I was gonna ask. So the software Zach's talking about. So how is that beneficial based on the stuff? I know you're talking about a little earlier, but is that something that you like said that would really help what you're doing also? What's in that software?
Yeah, because he and I basically in the same. Boat when it comes to like traditional, like being taught how to play on a piano, which clearly I was not, but I know just enough to get myself in trouble, which is right where I want to be. But
yeah.
So I know the layout of my keyboard and such, but if I had to sit there and add chords and stuff like that, I have that chord sheet that you can pull out as well, but that just takes like a billion years and like
Yeah,
You
yeah.
wind up just being
no doubt.
like
There's certain ways in music where you don't want to be tactile, and that's one of them.
Right. So you're saying so in the software we're on the video, so it'll recognize the different chords and notes, so that you can key everything correctly, right? Without, I mean, the software will just pick that up and key it in.
Yeah,
Sounds like.
the graphical, like the user interface on this on Captain Beats, like that shit is like, yeah, definitely user friendly, enticing. Unlike the other one that I have, like it's just very, you have to go through and you're seeing like your fifths, your like different notations, like A minor, blah 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 blah. That like, just you got to pretty much you're fucking guessing. You're just dragging and dropping these chords that are already pre-made in there, whereas this is like more enticing for creativity within that program. So,
Right.
I think that's what, that's why I really like specifically. I like this one. Well, there's a couple reasons, but promoted by Andrew Huang. I know one of the guys who was in there at the beginning of Mixed in Key, and then also I feel like they leverage into this in their own little promotional videos. But the idea that like when something is like very sleek like this and provides so many opportunities for variation, it really does enhance your creativity. I think that doubles over for a person like me, that like half the fucking chord progressions I would see in there, I'd be like, whoa, I've never even thought of this. Like, I never even knew that existed. Like, I would never come up with that. I'll come up with that in 15 years from now. I'd like to come up with it in 15 minutes from now.
Right.
So,
well, it's amazing. So many people have put so much effort into this for so many decades that it creates a whole new generation of, creators. Because we're co-creating off of their work, right? And always being able to create something new. So it's honoring what they've done, being able to drop that stuff in real simple and real easy, and it's awesome. So that's a whole new layer of creation. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean that's the first thing that grabbed me was the GUI. So I was just like, oh shit! Like I'm over here like Fred Flintstone and shit, like fucking like
yeah.
But like, so clearly the possibilities are endless. So yeah, exactly what Zach was just saying. It creates the environment for you to create more because it's super user friendly. Look at all the pretty colors and shit like that on there, where that's not happening in the shit that I own. You know what I'm saying? That's just like fucking boring.
That's beautiful. It looks worse when you have it inside of Ableton, and Ableton's pretty as far as DAWs go.
Yeah, true. Very true.
So
so
this is a plugin. This is a plugin for Ableton, then I'm assuming, yeah.
You could install it as a VST or an audio unit or whatever. Like, yeah.
Okay, so a lot of different software.
And then you can string your other VSTs within side of that. From what I was seeing from that like clip, like
it's kind of weirder than your standard plugin operation because it's multi-layered inside of digital, especially inside of audio shit. Probably as by virtue of side chaining synthesizers and compressors and shit. They're like, well, let's fucking side chain plugins too. So like, basically you got your audio workstation, which is like your studio, right? This plugin would be like bringing in some type of device that helps you make sounds, but you can plug anything that makes sounds or affects sounds into it. And then the sounds go through this thing. So like I would take my guitar and plug it into whatever my pedal, and then I would plug my pedal into this thing, and then I would tell this thing to play whatever chord progression. It would apply the effect of the pedal and play it on the guitar. I would never touch the guitar again, right?
Wow. Awesome.
Brittany
likes the colors.
That's why I like the using like the Ableton simpler and sampler within there, like taking old tracks from years ago and dropping like bass lines, guitar lines that I wrote years ago, that have like beef and girth to it. And I haven't even touched a fucking instrument, and I can't even tell you how long, but it's like brand new shit. It's all.
I don't know whether you would probably have benefit of this for vocals because you like to chop that shit. Have you looked at this? There's a newer software that came out that some open source AI research found a thing that could basically like separate files, right? And then this AI got reworked by some like private developer, just some producer, some music producer using Python it uses that AI to take an audio song and rip it apart into 4 different stems, which are basically like bass, vocal, others, and something else. It's called. I would have to look through my history to remember the name. It's like $1.
Yeah, it's it was a pain in the ass to kind of install, but yeah.
You got to install Python and all this other fucking bullshit in order to get it going.
Yep.
But it's fucking revolutionary, dude. Like, what the fuck? like 30 seconds, it takes a track and rips it apart into 4 different stems where you have their whole drums, their whole bass, their whole vocals, and their whole other. And other is basically any mid-range effect.
Yep.
And since other ends up spaced out all over the place, you can then rip all of their like samples and effects and everything. You can easily pull it out of the other track. Their bass line is completely in bass. The entire top end of their drums is in drums. And almost everything that's in a vocal is in vocals.
Yeah, that's
It's crazy.
nuts. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, and it's driving me crazy.
Same. I'm just not at my computer.
I'm getting there. Spleeter.
Spleeter. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. Spleeter.
Like Skeeter from Doug. Doug Funny. Skeeter. Spleeter. That's how I remember it.
There you go. That'll work.
Yeah.
It rhymes.
Spleeter. Yeah.
Yeah. It's Skeeter, but he's splitting up tracks into stems.
Yeah.
So it's
Skeeter,
the
Skeeter
spleeter.
was green. Skeeter was green, and he was like a rocker or whatever in the cartoon. So yeah, that all fits. Nice. I dig it.
Yeah. So like, it was some like where I got the file from was like this DJ like chick that I'd never even heard of before, but that's who was like branding it as their own or something like
Yeah,
that.
she's the girl that made it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Like, yeah, I saw the wind up and the pitch, and I was like, oh, and then like, trying to implement it within my within Ableton, I'm just like, you know what? I don't really have that long of fucking tracks so I installed it and went through all that like pain in the ass to be like, man, but
I think it'd really be best for just like ripping out other shit. Like if you hear like a girl's voice that's super sick and it sounds like it's just perfect for like to chop it up and use it as some type of accentuating effect, like so good for just ripping that out, and then you got all the vocals just right there in one track, chop chop chop.
I think for where I was doing and where I was at that particular night, like it just wasn't lining up to what I was doing. So I was just like, meh, after spending like, an hour fucking getting all the info and then fucking installing it. And then, it's like,
it would be really interesting too if you're like more into DJing, because you could kind of elaborate your set in a sense. If you took every track inside of the set and broke it up into those stems, and then you could like continue to play the bass from the first track over the entire second track, so that the second track was like remixed on the fly, just with like a completely different bass from the first track, and the whole top end and the drums is all like harmonic with each other. So it sounds totally fine. It sounds like maybe it was even originally intended to be that way, but then you can double drop it, because like that, it drops with that bass. And then the next time that like it has any kind of drop, it goes through into a B section or whatever, and then you just drop in the natural bass, and everybody's like, "Wait, this sounds fucking sick too." And it's like that's what the track was supposed to sound like, but now it has vocals from the next track. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Transformers, like fucking.
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to do that with like a fucking, a multi-way EQ. In the worst case, you got a 3-way EQ, and you're like dropping out mids, highs, and lows, and fucking hoping that it's taking out the shit without making all the other shit sound like garbage. Sometimes when you drop your highs completely out and you're like, okay, those mids sound really good, I'm going to come in basically riding those mids, but I don't want this high clangy shit at all. So I take the highs all the way out, and it takes all of the flavor off of the mids. You know what I mean? Or if you drop the bass completely out, then it's just like all the thickness is off of the mids, and you're trying to like ride those mids for the thing. And sometimes it ain't really fucking happening right. You were sitting here going like, oh, I mean, it kind of sounds all right, but I wish I just had stems, because this is also kind of fucking scuffed.
Scuff.
Also, I wanted to point the metaphor I was saying earlier with the guitar and all of that shit, so that we're clear on that. In that metaphor, the room in which all of this is taking place, that's Ableton. The room is Ableton.
Your host.
Right. So it's it's a digital studio, really. It just already has a lot of instruments in it when you install it.
I know it's a plugin, but do you need Ableton or something like that also, or is that in itself the software interface? I mean, plugin in denotes that it's not, but what kind of software?
Yeah, with its VST like linkability, like within there, I think it might be its own standalone at the same time.
Yeah, it probably is. I think that's what VST, I think the S in there is standalone, right?
I thought it was like virtual synth, something that was started by.
It might be. It might be. It might be. I could have made that up. So I know usually when you're using a VST, it will launch a window that doesn't look anything like Ableton. Like you can tell that they've completely programmed that entire graphic user interface. You know, it's like it's not even the frame of it is from Ableton. So it is like it's loading its own program. You know, usually with plugins, you need some type of digital audio workstation. Ableton is a very commonly used one now, but there is several others.
Yeah. So if you're doing just the plugin or the online, you're just doing all the dials and thing with your mouse and your keyboard and whatever. You're not actually, you know, doing any button work, or there's no physical interface if you're just using that software dynamic, correct?
Yeah.
Well, they did speak on there where you could put in your own rhythm. And if you're doing that, then you could use some type of tactile pad to basically finger drum that rhythm.
Play and record rhythms with keyboard or MIDI controller. So I'm sure they have it like quick keys set up on your actual computer keyboard if you don't have an
so it'd be like having a station. I gotcha.
Yeah, the only problem with the keyboard is that your velocities will be all fucked up all the time. So like this is the benefit of having an actual MIDI keyboard is that you get a really good response on the velocity with which you press the key. And with like, well, if you have a good keyboard for your computer, you have a mechanical keyboard, and a mechanical keyboard doesn't handle stuff at all the same way as a piano or a MIDI keyboard does. It's more like click, click in order to press a thing rather than this smooth depression. You know what I mean?
Pressure sensitive with keys on the keyboard versus just a touch.
Having said that, inside of Ableton you can manually adjust the velocity of any transient. So
that's how I learned Reason I didn't have any controllers, anything. I just pointed click with a mouse. You can build it with Ableton. You can build amazingly complex music without ever touching an instrument. Just literally using a mouse, drawing it in there, dragging it around, keyboard shortcuts, no instrument ever.
Awesome.
Bunch of the music that you hear today, the person who created it doesn't have a fucking clue how to play any instrument. Guarantee it.
Right.
There's just no reason in this day and age. The robots will do it for us.
Absolutely.
They're actually better at it. Really. I mean, if you're trying to stick, okay, so here's the biggest problem with hiring a drummer in a band. He can do the things that you need, but doing them over a period of time, he starts to lag or lead behind the actual bar line. And it fucks up the entire rest of the band.
You have to put up with his opinion and what he's
right. You really do, because the drummer controls the entire fucking thing, right? Because if you're playing the guitar and all this other shit, and you're on your own little time, and the drums are never hitting on your actual progressions, it sounds like you're out of space, right? So to the ear, the drums always sound like they're determining what the timing is supposed to be. They're the rhythm section. Right? And that's what the rhythm section does. It establishes the timing of the musical production, I guess you would call it, composition, production, whatever. They're establishing the timing. So there's a lot of guys out there that they can just fucking rail out a fucking solo on some drums, and you're just like, holy shit, you can fuck some drums up. But when they get into a band with it, man, they can fuck some drums up. I mean, like, they're fucking up because they're like sliding all over the fucking place all the time. Exactly. And the faster the tempo that you're operating at, the more likely it is that you're going to slide. This is why, like, jazz drummers that never slid around did complex fucking time signatures at super high tempos with weird flourishes all over the place. It's like, what the fuck is going on in that guy's brain? Like, how the fuck is he able to handle all that data? Like, it's ridiculous. It's literally ridiculous in some cases. Yeah. So, because they're doing just crazy kinds of math.
Freestyle, like Wynton Marsalis, Branford Marsalis, like all that kind of stuff, man. That shit was like...
It's interesting expression of intuition, because the people who are best at it don't handle it as a mathematical equation at all. In fact, they like don't even think about the timing. They're fucking in the groove and they fucking play the fuck out of that shit, and it's perfect. And that's the only reason they can do something that's that complex, is because they don't think about it at all. They just rip it.
I couldn't dive into jazz, but that's how I approach like what I do. Like, I just don't think about it. That's like my dad, because he's got a degree in mathematics and science and stuff. He's like, I don't understand how you can be good at music and not blah, 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 with mathematics. I'm like, because I don't it doesn't resonate with me in that way.
Like, I don't count this shit.
Like,
I
yeah,
play it and I go,
right.
yep.
Yep.
like,
Sounds good. Feels good.
yep, exactly.
If,
Like,
if when it all comes together, I go sick and want to flip my table, it's good. I don't need to know any
Yeah.
numbers.
No doubt, man.
The only number I need to know is what the volume at and can it go up higher.
Yeah, no doubt.
Fuck all that noise. It's funny because my first introduction, like my first way of getting into into music, like actually getting into it more than just being a listener, was this fascination that like, wait a minute, this is a huge ass mathematical thing happening here, and there's actually like a right way to do it, and all this stuff. That's dissolved over the years. Really, totally dissolved. Like I appreciate the organic nature of someone sliding off beat occasionally. At this point in time, where before I used to be like, "You're not a fucking robot. What's wrong with you?" You know, like
right.
that's off time.
yeah. The worst was like going in studio and then having my drummer play to an actual click track, and then you get to hear how fucking
fucking far off time they are.
Like or slow, or fast and slow, and then like within just a couple of bars that he is, man. Like that shit's tricky. Like I'm just like, what happened, dog? Like
yeah.
So like they get lost, like especially if it's a faster, like anything like that. But like that can really slow things down in the studio, and that's why I taught myself engineering, because otherwise you're paying somebody $200 an hour to like dole that, and they don't care. They're like, yeah, keep fucking up, like
fuck up all day long, man. I'm sitting here not having to do shit. I just press record. $200 an hour to press record and delete.
Yep. All right, we'll roll it back. From the top.
Lingo time too. A click track is when you basically pipe a metronome into a performer's headphones so that they know the timing of the song without having the entire composition in their ears.
So it's going like in their
headphones. It literally just clicks on the beats. So a click track.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't lay that out for him, but thank you, Zach. Appreciate that.
Okay, you're too advanced, Kevin. That's the thing. You'll say stuff and like it's to you it's very simple, and to the the person who's not schooled on it at all, they're like, wait, what the fuck is that thing?
Well, Brittany said, and I don't know when she dropped this. It looks like 4 minutes ago, but she said unless he's Danny Carey. I'm not sure who Danny Carey is. Does that ring a bell for anybody?
I don't know. I
don't either.
I don't know.
I'm gonna bet he's some amazing drummer or something like that, or something about that. But this is total guess.
Yeah. Well, thanks for paying attention, Brittany. Even though we missed that comment initially.
Who's Danny Carey? Please tell me now, or I'm gonna have to go wiki him.
Who that is?
Who that is? Who that be?
If anybody ever wants to know how to basically like trap a Zach, just keep on bringing up shit I've never heard of. Because then I have to fucking go figure out what that thing was. Like, I have to go do that. It's got to happen. Oh, okay, he's the drummer from Tool. Cool, I've only spent 27,000 hours listening to him and have no idea what his name is. Great.
Welcome to my world,
this is
man. That's
Music Appreciation Day right here, right?
Right. Yep.
I appreciate the music. I just don't have any fucking idea who makes it. That's because I fully appreciate the music. I don't even care who made it.
Right, isn't that funny? I've got so much music. I couldn't tell you shit about who wrote it, who produced it, who whatever. It's just I can tell you how the music made me feel.
Shit, D&B in modern days, I feel like there's so many goddamn producers, or really just electronic music, period. There's so many producers that it's like impossible to keep up with who all's making decent music,
Right.
So it sounds like a track is probably like a huge track, and then you look at like who the name of is on it. You're like, I've never even heard of this guy. Like, who is this?
There's some though that are like Sub Focus has a sound and a certain formula that's big for his like what they would consider from the documentary pop, like drum and bass, like the commercial style drum and bass. He like rolled off like 1, 2, 3. I think it was like 4 or 5 like dance floor rockers, like one after the other. But Aaron, you should start to like be able to hear sounds within a certain like way a producer will do things. You should start to like say, oh, that sounds like Black Sun, or like you should start to be able to put that together. And
if you're really analyzing their sound and associating it to their identity. then you will definitely be able to do this.
Well, and even just over time, yeah, and some of it, there's so much of it, right? I think for first getting a feel for being able to distinguish the subcultures within them, liquid D&B and all the others, and I mean that, and each appreciating their own further dynamics. Zach went into more detail, I think, yesterday about the difference between dubstep and what type of D&B that is, and all of them have their own flavors, they're touching into something. And I know I've always resonated with the liquid D&B or a lot of the EDM that goes into those very liquidy places where you lose the beat for a while. It's a whole different experience inside of the music, and then it drops again. Which is it's a whole other thing. That dynamic is infinitely variable and beautiful.
Did you listen to that Shine On track that I sent from the New Tone?
Maybe the ones that are most relevant, I think, that I've listened to a bunch of times in the last few days. Well, I'm still listening to the Understanding one. I listen to that one probably the most, just like whatever. It's really resonating with me. I think there's a lot of shit in there, like light codes, whatever. Frank's voice, the things you guys are doing. There's just shit in there that I haven't, that I feel like is beneficial to my being the more I tune into it. And so I keep listening to it, which makes sense because all the work you guys put into it.
That's cool. Man.
That one, and then the one Zach sent me, that mix of that hour-long mix that at like 14 minutes, I think 13 minutes and I don't know, 50 seconds to be safe. But there's this really sick drop in there in the middle of it. It's just awesome. I've listened to that. I like half an hour section around that probably 3 or 4 times at least.
Yeah, well, I think it was like last night, 2 nights ago maybe, but it was the producer's New Tone. The track is called Shine On, and it's it's really bouncy and heavy on the side chain. And that it stands out for that, and there's a vocal going along with it.
Awesome. I think I did. Okay, is it the New Tone featuring Natalie Williams?
Yep, that's it.
Okay. Yeah.
What is really the benefit to side chaining? Like, I don't. So side chaining is there something different than like just dragging a bunch of audio effects onto the rack with side chaining, right?
Yeah, specifically side chaining creates that pumping effect. So that's really predominant in like house. Things like that, but basically when you don't want your kick and bass to hit at the same time because they'll cancel each other out. So basically one ducks the other one.
Okay.
And that's the purpose of side chaining. So that way they're not clashing and like the frequency.
Oh, okay. So side chain basically makes it do something. It's kind of like an automation technology. It do something when this other thing does something.
Exactly. It ducks one, and like you got to decide in the beginning which frequency set you want your bass to, like your kick to sit at, and then you got to decide, okay, well, if the kick's at 20 hertz to 40 hertz, I'm going to put my kick drum at 40 hertz to 60, and that way they're not on the same frequency spectrum also.
Yeah.
You can create like separation that way so they don't bury each other. It's the hardest part of that shit is that low end, because they both sit so close on. They're basically sitting on the same real estate. You know what I mean? And
you're trying to get that delineation to get that pumpy, like boom, 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 boom kind of thing happening.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you can change the hertz of the different sounds. So you're not just running off pure 60 hertz or bass. You can actually change the hertz.
Pass filter on it or a low pass, any kind of.
Oh, okay. So they don't cut into each other. You can't.
Exactly.
I get what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
So you want each instrument or like subgroup in a mix in a song to have a spot where it sits. You know what I mean?
A range.
Exactly.
Yeah, basically that range is between 0 and 10,000 kilohertz. But the stuff towards the top end of that, you ain't never gonna hear it. You know what I mean? Like,
just like 20 hertz and below is more like we can't
heavy.
And so it's like 20 to 30 is more feel in your gut. That's when you go into a club and they have those fucking huge speakers and it's like
you can feel the bass from outside the walls. That's because that shit is 20 hertz.
Yeah.
Slow sound waves go through walls really easily.
Yep.
This is something to ponder for all parts of existence.
Well, same thing with cell phones. I mean, that's why they can keep increasing the hertz, which gives you more data on the bandwidth, but they have to do shorter range because it doesn't make through the walls. They have to pump out higher amperage and all that, or whatever they do for to get the signal through. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Tortoise and the hare, man.
And so is it the way they build those subs? Is it the size of the magnet in there, or the driver, or like it's just the actual volume of the size and the way
nothing to do with the subs.
Move air?
It's
not the subs?
No, we're talking about the sounds that are getting played through say the
Well,
sound.
right, but like you
Yeah.
said, most things you don't feel or necessarily hear below 20 hertz. But if you have the right speakers or something to actually carry that frequency, compressed air or something, so you actually hear it or feel it, does that have to do with the speakers and monitors they're using? I imagine.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's probably line arrays, and then it's like I guess most big clubs still do passive, where there's an amp to a speaker, but now everything's kind of been streamlined to where powered stuff from QSC, JBL, all that shit is top notch, man. So it's so much easier to just have a powered 18 and like some mains and stuff like that, depending on the size of the club, obviously. But yeah, I mean,
When he's saying powered, he means that the speaker itself already is built in with an amp and all these kinds of things, rather than having two different pieces of gear that you're running off to I got a 1,000-watt amp, and that's running to these two speakers that are on this side of the club. I got another 1,000-watt amp. It runs over here. Instead of that, now you got pretty high-quality speakers that got a 500-watt amp built into them, for instance.
You just use mic cables to connect them rather than like those special speaker cables. That
So you're giving them the sound signal they need, but they've got all the power to push whatever sound signal comes to them within the unit. That's why they're so expensive and awesome.
Yeah, but yeah. Thank you again, Zach. My bad. I'm just started firing off lingo and shit.
Oh, it's all of it. I get a little bit from you, a little bit from Zach. I mean, I picked up a lot of music stuff over time, just not the same thing you guys have, here and there. So whatever, every little piece helps paint the picture. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin and I have like a similar type of understanding that's really actually like a weird one, which is like it comes from just like spending a lot of time around music and just loving the fuck out of it. And then you pick up like all this like random shit and there's stuff that you come to know and stuff. But like, it's been such a long journey. You kind of like don't even remember where you got most of it. It's just like, I know all this shit.
Well, that's what I really appreciate about this dynamic here. I mean, just like learning this shit because we're, you guys, sounds like you guys are finding new ways to articulate things you've known before or ways that you've never heard. And all of a sudden learning things. And there's just, all of it's cool, man. That's why the whole Clo Lab thing, doing the channel, I think would just be fun because it's not like, it's a progressive conversation over time. I don't see this getting boring, so it's great. And get more educated along the way. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, that's why I think like your brain, the way it works, would probably be a great DJ. So like you'd be that dude that I would pay or whatever to come on tour with me and spin my shit while I emceed because I don't want to be two shoes in the dryer showcasing my shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
interesting.
But you were already
that I would be or Zach?
Yeah, Aaron. That I don't know. I think Zach's got the knowledge already there too, just from like he was saying, being around it, like like the terminology and stuff. But like I'm saying specifically, like you were already taking like my track with the binaural and shit like that. So whether you knew it or not, you were already fucking technically setting up a fucking mix.
Oh, I gotcha. Oh, okay, so you feel like I pay attention to that, or I just in a way that.
And what you hear in my tunes, like, lets me know that you can hear the intricacies of what I've set up, like an effect to maybe sound like there's a vocal there, but there's not.
Yeah.
Like you asked me if I was singing, I'm like,
yeah.
Absolutely not. Nope.
Yeah,
no,
I gotta isolate that too, because every time I hear it through, I hear it again, and I'm like, shit, I gotta look at my phone, timestamp it, because I forget where it's at in the track. But yeah, no, I hear it every time, so I wanted to know what you did to make that sound, because it's really interesting.
It's called like luck.
Yeah, but that one specifically, I can be like, all right, at a minute 15 in the track, then you can pull it up on your computer and be like, look at what that is. Maybe the original files. See, then you can just, you may not know all the steps of how you tweaked it. There may be thousands, I imagine, but like what the original was and like your story really with that sound. Oh shit, yeah, this sound, I did this, and I tried this, and then this thing happened, I tried this, and it came out like this because of this. You know what I mean? All that shit is super valuable.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, like for one, I hear that. Surprised you didn't hear that in problem reaction solution. Like that the harder one, like the more rock D&B sounding one, specifically like in my like frequencies, like it sounds like there's a vocal underneath like the guitars and shit.
Yeah.
Like
that's not a vocal on that one either.
Oh no. Those are frequency like bounces underneath everything that makes it sound like there was a scratch vocal track somewhere that just fucking got turned way down. Like,
yeah, awesome.
I mean, it's cool. Like, and I've been meaning to like come back over top and see what I can add actually vocally to that. But I just haven't, because I'm fucking chilling right now. Fucking just doing me, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm stoked to hear whenever the vocals come in, in addition, like that'll be awesome. It'll be fun to see and play with and tweak and what the options are there, because it's just like there's so much more. I feel like it leaves. Hold on, just I had a cough. I feel like it leaves a lot of ground for people who can sing some things. I feel like maybe a lot of people feel like they sing certain songs well, or certain sections of a song, or a little part of a key, or they make up their own sounds that sound good, but they may not be good singers in general. But all you got to catch is one. I mean, like we talked about before, auto-tuning, not necessarily even a good sound, but really one like nice, nice. I say nice, but like some heartfelt expression for somebody. One verse, one thing, one note, one thing that has a heart in it in some regard. Beautiful. And then tweak it in a way that just fits in some bar in the song, in some kind of background side way, or some beautiful shit. So it's not like, it's no longer about, it's all about the vocals and the vocalists. And there's some tracks that just happens, right? Because it's just amazing and that's great. But being able to incorporate other people's vocals into tracks just sounds like people in the community, man. Or like, was it the Higher Side Chats? This is kind of unrelated to DMB, but I guess we could somehow mix it over. But like the Higher Side Chats, Greg Carlson, he's been doing that show for like 8 years or so, and he's got his own intro on there from the community. They've got songs and intros, and they also have, he regularly plays, like, people leave voicemails for him saying, thank you, really appreciate the show, whatever. And he plays those as a part of intro sometimes, or different things. But taking things like that from the community, I don't know how we get audio samples from the community. Maybe we could set some up. People could just send in on some the phone's one thing, but I don't know. Some way to do just sounds. People from the community make
Andrew Huang does that shit all the time. I just go on Twitter and ask people to send him a bunch of ridiculous sounds.
Yeah, man. But people, from the community. Well, I guess Twitter. But we don't have like that whole. It's mainly in the chat right now.
So like, back before the cell phones had the technology capabilities that it did, but you could walk around with handheld recorders and like pull pots and pans out of your fucking kitchen, bang on them with whatever, and now you've got a percussion element to your D&B track, and that's what a lot of so I followed suit with like Ed Rush and Optical, because they did that a bunch, and that way you make your own sample bank that's unique to your set that will give you like your sound. And like I did that for like a number of years, like just any kind of effect, like taking the pick on the guitar string and going like along the coils, like that. All that kind of shit. I was like, just made sure I sampled, and it could be just a short phrase that you can then extend, and it just becomes a sound bank that is unique to you. And like you can start, and then it builds outward that way. And like next thing you know, you're like, oh shit, there's 5 years worth of samples, man. Like, so.
Yeah, no shit. How much would you say of the track, like Interesting, for example, or the Problem Reaction Solution, are from that sound bank that you created?
I don't know, maybe, well, because there's the 808 that I always use massive for. The 808 sub is the low end, that you feel in your chest. Like I always use that sub, not, there's Massive X that's out now, but I still prefer the classic. So I will always use that in every track, and that's generated new every time, although it might sound the same. You might put a couple tweaks, and then like I was saying, my drum program, I know that I have certain kits preset and pre-made because I know it's good. I spend a lot of time tweaking the sounds and tuning the kit to go with this particular genre, set, what have you. Like it's a natural sounding kit or an acoustic kit that actually sounds good with drum and bass. So that is always in each one, but it's like that. What did I told you about the group that I call Boom Bap. Like those elements will be like just a little amen or something like that I've made that I will layer. So sometimes there could be 2, 3, 4, 5 like different like, samples in that little group alone. That is something that I built up over, like your percussion I put in there. It's mainly like drum loops and percussions is what I'll put in the Boom Bap that will then layer underneath the main acoustic kit. And that's how you start making that big ass like drum sound and just filling space out. And like so those elements will always, I'd say the sub and the drums, and then of course I'll bring in a VST for like a Reese or something like that. That's like that gritty ass sounding synth, if that's what I'm doing. Or if I come across something from back in the day, which is like some ambient sounds and things like that, which are really cool to put over top, then those will get dropped in the sampler. So it depends. It's maybe 50-50 each tune.
Yeah.
But once your presets are made, like you start rolling that out a lot quicker than the first time you're going through. And like, because I spent hours, tuning the drum kit in the program I use, like for each, like there's a hip hop kits I have, there's electro kits that I have, and there's DMB shit that I have too. So, I mean, you don't just blink your eyes and fucking you're there.
Well, right. Oh no doubt. I knew there's like each sound has layers. There might be mixes of excuse me, many sounds that you've had. Just what percentage? So yeah, that makes sense totally, and that's really cool. I mean, that's like your life's work in a sense. Really. I mean, every song you use those tracks. That's really over a lifetime. I cannot tell you how fucking cool that dynamic is. And then let me address this. Hold on, because Zach didn't understand this. Jacob said, "What do you mean we don't have a community base yet?" Let me just start with, when he said Twitter, his fans on Twitter, and I immediately thought of, this guy's probably got like 30,000 fans on Twitter, and he just sends a tweet and gets all
30,000, low baller,
or millions, or whatever. I don't know, thousands, right? My point is, we've got like 20 in our group.
He's got 2 million subscribers on YouTube. He probably got 5 million followers on Twitter.
All right, even more so. So so I was just thinking of that dynamic, instant response of 1,000 responses. So no, totally. I know within our community we do for sure. I was just trying to think. There was just Twitter. That's all. Okay. Jacob said, do you know how many kids I have? I could use hundreds of sounds, heavy 100 sounds by tomorrow. Archer came out yesterday just to show me some weird noise he just figured out. Awesome. Please record. Cool. Please send in. Yeah, please do. Cool. Joseph said, LOL, I have one kid and he loves screaming and singing all day long. You should record some of those. That would be awesome. That'd be cool.
Definitely if they come up with a weird noise. I feel like it's such a good opportunity to make the kid feel like he really did something really valuable.
Yeah, and he did.
Because you could be like, that is sick. 1 second. Hold that thought. I need to go grab my recording gear. Right, man. Get a good high quality recording of this weird ass sound.
Yeah. No, and he did. No, because I'm putting it into these songs too. Even like Kevin's saying, I mean, think about that. We can take these sounds now until forever. Now that we've asked the community to send them in, now until forever, and we literally come up with thousands of sounds over, months, years, whatever, that are community that we just build into songs and layers, and Kevin was talking his premixes, and then make other mixes, and so literally the music that we start playing whenever we're on this land and playing these music and having this music stuff going 24/7, really, or some dynamic in the middle of the community and that whole thing. And that those songs in some way have been created with something from even right now, right? And all along the way, and some tweak or variation of it, not just the original perfect sound in the song, but you may not even know it's there. That's so fucking cool, man. That's awesome. Yep, that's why we're doing all this. Talk about community projects. Really, everyone participates in a song in some way from some point in time during our creation.
This was like fucking standard in tribes back in the day, quote unquote. They would have like drum circles and be around a fire. You love that fire shit, so you would love this too, of course.
Yep.
This like the idea, like when you ain't got TVs and all this other shit like that, you ain't got a phone to look at and whatnot, and there's some drums and shit sitting around, and everybody else is kind of, doing that thing anyways. Yeah. Like you inevitably end up like picking up a drum and adding your little flavor to it, or making a weird noise or whatever, and becoming part of the music.
When you flip an acoustic upside down, it becomes a fantastic like percussion instrument for like a bass.
Wow. Oh, right.
If you use this like your fist on the side, that becomes your bass, and then you can kind of hit it. Like it sounds great. So
there's this fucking Spanish guy that I saw playing that, like, he was playing a pretty complex like chord progression anyways, but then in the middle of it, like this flourish he was adding, he was like standard way that you would hold a pick, right, with the pointer finger and the thumb. So he had the 3 other fingers opened up, the pinky, the ring, in the middle, and like at the end of one of the strums, he would roll his fingers on the guitar. So it was like boom, 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 right? After everything, like he would get this roll from his fingers. It's like this percussive roll, in
Yeah.
the right at the end of the bar, right? It was
Yeah.
fucking amazing, dude. I was like,
It
Jesus
sounds like
Christ, you're playing drums and fucking guitar at literally the same
Dude,
time.
I
It
spent a
sounds like
lot
this
of.
guy's album that I have. I can't remember his name, and I fucking would probably take me forever to find it. But yeah, that sounds similar to that guy that like. It's basically like he's got a percussion person behind him playing, but it's just him solo, like playing an acoustic. But yet he's got this whole other thing, this timed out. Like I don't even know, man. Like so.
I don't even know how it does.
No, it's more than that. It was like 10 years ago this album came out. Like and
Oh, wow.
like I was like so impressed by it. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll give him, the $9 or whatever it was, and I couldn't tell you who the fuck it was right now. Like so I feel bad about that, but yeah, I took notice.
Maybe it was a white label, so you wouldn't be able to figure it out anyway, because who knows when that was pressed.
Nice.
Yeah.
That would be how that would go too. Like you'd finally figure out what this track was by finding this like piece of vinyl. You'd pull it out of the sleeve, all heroic, and it's a fucking white label that just has like an apple drawn on it or something.
Yeah,
You're like, what the fuck?
It had no
Fuck
Sharpie.
you.
The insignia, no name, no nothing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or
okay,
the
but-
fucking name's written on there in such bad chicken scratch you don't know what it says, even though you just
Yeah.
finally found it. What the fuck is this?
Then you just say what it is. So and so. I was there. The guy told me
Oh.
the story. Who gave it to me.
This track's called Chicken Scratch now because of your shitty ass handwriting.
Yeah. And that Chicken
His
Scratch,
name is in it.
Scratch album is sick.
Yeah.
What is it? Chicken Scratch is sick. Yeah, okay, Kevin. So how many sounds, different sounds, I mean, including understanding what you just said, that there's a lot of certain sounds already have multiple sounds within them, sometimes based over time, and the mixes and the ways, or not the mix, but the, what's it called? When you create a sound that's made of a bunch of sounds
Well,
for you, they use over and over.
oh, the groups, like the way that, like the boom bap, that's just terminology that I use to put things in categories and the way that I align it in the mix when I'm setting up. So it's streamlined. Like there's this style that's called top-down mixing, and I just picked that shit up like literally 5-6 months ago, and it's really helped me like start finishing more, because most engineers and or producers do it the opposite way. Like we'll drop EQs, compressors on every channel, which in the end might start to eat up your CPU, your RAM, and cause issues down the road. With top down, you do the opposite. You start from your master channel, and then like you'll put your compressor EQ there and try to do it all in one sweep. So it streamlines a bunch of it. And not only that,
Yeah, so instead of having like 10 compressors running, you got
Exactly.
one compressor running. But
to
then only things that need additional compression beyond that baseline would have a specific one.
Why would
exactly.
you need
Yeah.
compression?
Yeah, and
You talking about the pass filter? What's the compression on a certain sound? Why would you need to compress it? What is
because
that?
like do you either pulling the sound, if it's too low in certain places, you're going to make it, if there's dips, peaks and valleys, like in a sound, right? A compressor will help level it off. Essentially, it'll make a quiet sound loud and a loud sound quiet.
Yeah.
That's what a compressor basically does. But
Okay.
you can apply these techniques like we were talking about earlier, side chaining, which
Yeah.
will duck it underneath whatever you're side chaining, so that way the frequencies of the two elements at the low end won't cancel each other out, which is fucking essential in like DMB or any EDM really.
A
Gotcha.
compressor basically does what we like naturally do with colors, right? You look at the rainbow and you say it's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. There's actually hundreds of thousands of shades of color. That is what's known as a large dynamic range of colors. And a compressor basically decreases the dynamic range between sounds on whatever it is applied to. So if something was, so if it was like 1 and 10 volume, right, is basically the bounds. right?
Mm-hmm.
So a signal is coming in at a 1, and on that same thing, one is coming in at a 10. It's going to make the loud sound quieter and the quiet sound louder to bring them closer to both being at a 5, right?
So normalizer.
It's going to diminish.
Normalizes it.
Basically a normalizer. Yeah, it dampens the dynamic range.
Okay.
Diminishes, you could also say.
I was
But
really
then
liking
another benefit of the compressor is that then after you have compressed it, then you have like output gain coming off of that compressor. And so when you compress it, it is going to overall make the sound quieter, but you can end up with an overall louder result by putting more gain into it, because now that you've decreased the volume of the higher sounds, you don't clip as easily with the audio. So you can get the lower things even higher by diminishing the amount of top end. Does that make sense?
Kevin. Yes, it does. And Kevin, are we both agreed now that Zach is no longer to say that he only knows him as much as music as he read off of back of a Cracker Jack box? That's bullshit.
Fair enough.
Bullshit.
Fair enough. This isn't really, because here's the thing. This isn't really about. This is wave. I know a lot about waves, and so a lot of audio is sound wave stuff, and a compressor is dealing with compression of a sound wave, right? It takes the peak and the trough and tries to normalize them into more of a straighter line, basically.
Hold up,
You know what I
Aaron.
mean?
Yeah, I took this master class and I got this fucking great like thing. I'll send it to both of you that this guy just created that really gives you a visualization of what's going on during that. So it helped.
Do you happen to know of like, because there's a bunch of like effect filters inside of Ableton. I don't even know what the fuck they do. Right? Do you happen to know of like a good infographic that takes like all of the most common types of like pedals and effects and says like what they actually do to the sound? Do you happen to know of this resource?
Just within
Do you happen to know of this resource that I've described very
No,
elaborately?
I know, right? Like I want this extremely specific, well thought out, highly documented resource. Do you happen to know where it is? Can you please utilize your fucking like non-visual Dewey Decimal System to find this document for me, please?
Yeah, Kevin.
Yeah, no, I want to have a go-to resource where I can find out where like, well, for instance, right, because I don't know any good way to describe it, really, like a flanger. I mean, if you know what a flange does, this flanges something, but it adds kind of this like kind of happening to something. Right. But I would like to have some resource that I can go to that has all of these different kinds of effects, like a flanger or a phaser or a resonator, and it tells me like, this is what it does to a sound. Or maybe even better yet, it's actually a good modern resource, and it has a sound clip of a normal sound and a sound clip with a resonator applied to it, and a sound clip with a normal sound and a sound clip with a fucking phaser applied to it, right? Like, does this exist anywhere?
Like, that sounds like you'd be trying live, like on the fly. You'd be demoing, but live, you know what I'm saying? So it'd be like almost shit.
I should just make this webpage, dude.
There you go.
I have all these. I have these things. I know exactly the way you just are like.
And then put ads all over it. I mean, just so many fucking ads. And then Kevin, with all the ad revenue from the website, I can buy us these ridiculously overpriced plugins.
Genius.
It'll be perfect.
Excellent
It'll be perfect.
Idea.
Brilliant.
Let's execute. Jack. Flip the table. Excellent. Okay, Kevin.
And then we can cap off the pyramid with teaching other people how to do the same thing. The best cap to the multi-level marketing scheme. When the scheme stops working out because people have figured out how to scheme the scheme, but you'd still like to scheme, simply teach people how to scheme.
Beautiful.
It works perfectly.
Done.
So
Where's that at?
ridiculous.
2 hours, 27 minutes ish. That's where that's where we need to come
I've
back to
taught
that
you
idea.
how to develop multi-level marketing schemes in 2 minutes or less. And I didn't charge you anything because this is the worst multi-level marketing angle on teaching you this I could have possibly taken.
I place tiny classified ads. What's that guy's name? Andrew Lesko or something, like the old man that used to have the Riddler outfits and like the infomercials like way late at night.
Oh,
like,
shit.
Like, okay, never mind. That's what I
I
just.
forgot that fucking dude's name. I know. I can see the dude's face looking all ridiculous. Don't remember his name.
He's got a new one out, man. I'm like, there's no way you're still alive, dude. That's like fucking geeked out as that guy was. He's still still amped as fuck.
There's no way he wasn't on enormous amounts of coke to do those infomercials. So there's no way his heart's still beating.
Like, I guess it's a clone or some shit of him. Like, it did look like a little bit different. Maybe some plastic surgery or something. I don't know. Like, but it was him, man. It was him, or the idea of him. I don't know. Whatever.
Maybe it's always been an infomercial android in a Riddler costume.
That's what that shit reminded me of. Like, so if we could put on some flash gear like that and just take to the boob tubes late at night and like in bed, like fucking. Oh my God.
The most likely suit for anyone to ever get me to wear would likely be a bright green one with question marks all over it. I would be actually kind of interested in wearing that. I would be interested in wearing basically a total Riddler outfit where it's that green suit with the question marks all over it and a bowler hat to go to basically like a rave and just dance the whole night and not talk to anyone. So that everybody was like, did you guys see that fucking weird dude in the question mark suit? He can fucking flow. Did you talk to him? No, he didn't fucking talk to anybody.
He didn't want to talk to nobody.
Yeah. I've gotten to raves dressed up as some ridiculous ass shit, man. Darth Vader. We did Darth Vader one night. Darth Vader doing liquid. That was a good time.
Awesome. Dude, that is awesome. Seeing that,
I came up with an idea that night that made me. It was the first time in my life I ever actually legitimately inside of my heart wished I had dwarfism. Because I could have I could have been an Ewok at a rave.
Yeah, that would be
you
awesome.
would have gotten the most enormous amount of play you have ever seen a guy get in his life. If there are any people with dwarfism out there that is affecting their height and they're men and they would like to have a lot of women touch them, go to a festival dressed up as an Ewok. It will be unbelievable.
Wow.
Awesome. You're a fucking walking teddy bear. It's, oh my God.
Wow.
See, look at literally, this is what every girl would say right here. Laughing my ass off, you had me at Ewok.
There it is.
Oh my God, it's so cute. Because it is. It's unbelievably cute.
Yeah. And even especially at a rave on like a Molly or Sass or any of that stuff.
Oh, I know, right?
Game over.
Oh, it's
game
over,
man. It's cuddle party with the Ewok, and the Ewok dies from suffocation. But he didn't know.
Is that your way of saying you want a Riddler costume for your birthday? When my dream coalesces of recreating Fabric London at some weird random location in the United States, the last bastion of fucking liberation left on the planet, then provide to me on the opening night of that a Riddler costume.
Come on, man. Yeah, and
because I am going to be so high on drugs that you have never seen a person that high on drugs. Okay? So high on drugs. Unbelievable. It will go perfect. It will cause me to question my entire reality. Like all night, I will be the question marks. Oh my God, it would be so great. Please let that. That is 100% my reality. Like it's already set in stone. When that happens, that will be the first time Zach has ever worn a suit. I have literally never worn a suit ever in my life, and that will be the first time. It will be green with lots of fucking question marks all over it. Awesome. Really fucking high on drugs.
Really fucking high on drugs.
Absolutely.
Dude, that is a solid 69% reason for me to live.
At least 69%. Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
A lighter was only 1%, so that's worth 69 lighters.
That's fucking huge, man. That's big. knowing that you're my old brother, I'm coherent with you. We are heading in that vector, that direction. That is going to manifest in our reality. Like that's pretty fucking big, man. I gotta be feeling pretty bad for that alone, not to bring me up, and that exists in my 3D reality now. I'm very thankful for that.
On another note, if you're having a bad day, simply think of Zach dancing around some kind of rave situation in a Riddler costume, really high on drugs, because that's just retarded. Like, that is so ridiculous.
And that's so salvia,
ridiculous.
bro. That's so salvia.
Yes.
That's so salvia, bro. You're trying to be all salvia.
The best part will be when I never say a single statement all night long.
It will.
I'm literally only going to ask
It'll be the best.
questions.
Oh, it'll be the best. It'll be the best. It'll be the best.
That's it. The whole night will be a riddle. It will be amazing. I am so excited for this. I actually just got more excited for that night, which is I thought was impossible. I'm actually more excited now.
Okay, listen.
Now it has to happen quick because I'm super interested in this. Also, I could just do this for Halloween. You know?
Yeah, come on, man. Okay, are you feeling what I feel like as we're talking about that? It's not like, oh, this would be fucking cool. Like, no, this is reality. I'm like, we're tapping into reality that already.
Oh no, it's going to be cool.
No, it's
going.
Yeah, right.
It's already cool. I just didn't get to the party yet.
Yes.
It's already cool.
Sir. I agree, dude. I'm gonna be the best fucking wingman that whole night because I'm just gonna thoroughly enjoy watching everyone. Some people be really confused.
You're fucking probably gonna need wings to be able to follow me around. Jesus. We're not messing around here. We're talking like quarter sheet neighborhood or something like that. We're not messing around. No, we're gonna riddle.
Did I say sober wingman? I did not say that, so it doesn't mean that.
No, I'm just saying make sure to bring something that gives you wings, Doc, because you're gonna need them. I'm gonna be on a rocket ship flying in circles.
I got you.
So,
well, only speaking in questions.
Yes,
this sounds like this is wonderful.
Only
I'm glad.
questions.
I'm gonna start dreaming into this reality. Quite literally, let's add that to my notes. As I learn to lucid dream, as Zach teaches me, because he's way more practiced and he's wonderful. I'm going to dream into Zach's Riddler dream. That's also my reality because that's happening. It's 69, and it's 69% reason to live.
He is Jesus Cristo del Espacio. He can already fly everywhere.
It's true, man. You gotta do this right here, the heart. Then you put them out like this, like the stigmata, but you just go.
I feel like I don't know the joke, but I'm pretty sure somewhere out there in the ether, a good joke starts. So Space Jesus and an Ewok walked into a bar. I don't know the rest of the joke, but it's got to be hilarious.
Yep, I'm trying to think. Frank actually might be on soon. He was supposed to be home and tuning in, so that would be what a great way to him to dive in on that topic.
Like what you just said reminds me of that joke that like Judd Nelson starts telling in like the Breakfast Club when he's crawling on the ceiling. Like, so I can't remember how it starts, but he's like a Chihuahua or a poodle and a 2-foot salami.
Oh yeah. When they're inside the air vent before they fall through.
Exactly. Like that's totally what it reminded me of. Like
it's in the middle of the movie, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Like no, isn't he going back? Or no, he's coming to. He's going from where he's at to the area.
Tension back and forth, yeah. Out to the office.
Totally my life in high school. Yeah.
while you were constantly on drugs.
Yeah. I don't want to get into this, man. Because I'd kill you.
Okay. I just sent a message. I'm sending a message to Frankie. Space Jesus and an Ewok walk into a bar. Come on the show and tell us the answer.
Oh, fair enough. Jasmine's right. The joke actually starts, so Space Jesus and an Ewok fly into a bar.
Fly
I'm writing correction.
Or just appear in a bar. Then they just like let's
I don't know. Is Space Jesus at a point in his story where he's using his miracles that openly? I'm not sure. I'll have to check with
dude, if me and the Ewok are going to raves and going to bars and shit, yeah, it's happening.
What part of the Christological timeline does Jesus go to a rave with a Ewok? I haven't seen that pain yet.
The same timeline that they wrote about, they just left that shit out or burned it down in Alexandria.
Hell yeah.
That's all.
Typical. That's why they burned down the Library of Alexandria, folks. You heard it here first. They were hiding the Ewok Space Jesus correlation.
Yep, and the rave in Plur, all from the beginning.
Yeah,
Space
that
Jesus.
was actually the secret of the Egyptians and all ancient cultures. They actually built these megalithic environments simply to hold enormous raves. The Great Pyramid was called the Great Pyramid because really great DJs stood on top of it and blasted beats across the Sahara.
Yes.
Dude. I'm telling you, man, watch that's what the pyramids were for. You think it's all the sacred geometry and all that shit. Yeah, that works too. But really, it's the way that it transmutes sound.
Yeah, it's literally just how good the bass is in the King's Chamber. Like, that's literally
Really?
the entire
That
point
is
of the
what's
state.
all about, man. That was
Stick!
it. Why do you think?
Through this bass!
Yeah.
Lay
That's
inside
it.
of this weird cask right here. It's your house. You gotta stick the bass down. All you can hear is the bass in this room. But if you go in here, all you can hear is the mids. It's like a fucking equalizer, but you
It
live
reminds
inside
me-
of it.
If you're sitting there, it reminds me of Orion. It feels so good.
Oh man.
Dude, okay, Kevin, elaborate on boom map. I got your acronym.
Boom bap.
Boom bap. It's-
Sorry, I got boom bap. I wrote it down right. I said it wrong.
It's a
Continue.
style of hip hop. Like it's an era of hip hop that's kind of been coming exactly what you're hearing right there.
Oh,
Boom, bap,
Guess I wouldn't have thought.
bap.
Like it's a kick and snare. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
style of the beat from an era of hip hop that has actually been making its way back. Like
I wrote down PTSHUGH or something. PDTSHUGH. That's how it sounds, bro. It's boom.
It's basically a two beat loop is what it's referencing, which is a kick and then a snare, kick snare, kick snare, kick snare. Then you can toss other elements into the drum line, but if it's holding that basic rhythm of kick snare, it's functionally boom bap.
yeah, that's your boom bap. Turntables of the Zigga Ziggas.
A lot of 90s hip hop was the primary difference between like East Coast hip hop for the most part and West Coast hip hop was that West Coast hip hop was more like this like wavy kind of little bit more influenced by like the bass music style of stuff, whereas the East Coast, especially the New York area, really stuck true to the boom bap style for a really long time.
Yep.
Oh man, I'm telling Frank we're talking shit about East Coast hip hop right now. See if he comes in. Get him jump in on that.
That
shit.
couldn't be any more false. East Coast hip hop is the best. So.
I know.
I concur.
All right. Let's see.
But like Zion I, like he's straight out of the East Base, like West Coast, and it sounds like he's out of New York. You know what I'm saying? So that's what kind of threw me off by him too. Like,
yeah, well, he was a good rapper. He didn't want to get muddled up with all those West Coast guys, you know. Bow wow wow yippee yo yippee yay, you know what I'm saying? Like that is Snoop Dogg, fun to listen to, good MC. Hey, I don't know, boys. I don't know about that.
you know who was ahead of him with that phrasing was do you remember Funk Dubious? No.
Oh, I don't remember this guy, but I remember hearing some shit that was like the same shit that he was doing.
Yeah, like holy shit, you just like triggered that in like my cortex, man. Now I just fucking remember that guy now. He has a funky sounding like flow and voice as well. Like hello. There he is. Bow wow wow. Yep.
Lil Bow Wow. He does D&B too.
No. That's the name of the song.
Lil Bow Wow doesn't make music.
Hell no.
No, you could probably take some of those weird sounds and then we could make a D&B track out of it, I'm sure.
Sure. Here,
But yes, it's his own piece. It's not very enjoyable.
I sent it to you, Zach, and then why don't we group chat it?
Cool.
And then there's that.
I can't watch it. Can't listen to it though. I guess I could mute it.
Yeah, mute your mic. Yeah. Hello, folks. Enjoy the sounds. Let me see. Hold up for all you crazy kids out there. There's that.
He's kind of got the Cypress Hill flow going on too.
Yeah, like they were like same like time period, same like side by side type shit. Yeah.
Okay, so what's that? Ba-da-ba-da-bap, ba-da-bap. What's that from? That's from saying Bow Wow or something? They tweaked it, or what is that? Or is that just the boom bap too? What are you talking about?
I didn't mute my mic so I could hear it. I'm just going off my
Yeah,
recollection.
it's the intro. It's just like the first, the whole into it
Oh,
before
that's
they
like
even
the
get.
vocoder, like but old school, like before that was like definitely analog done. Here, I'm gonna fucking mute my shit and listen to it again.
Yeah, just it's in the first like 20 seconds, the whole first thing. Ba-rap-bap, 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 or whatever that is. I mean, it's all guttural in that, but he's still listening.
The gutturalness that you're hearing from it comes from a synth.
Okay. It's just tuned down in a way to make it the more guttural sounding tones.
So strange, but yeah, that's like your analog. That's an actual analog vocoder. Like that was. So that's somebody like talking into a microphone and it being run into a synth and it being modulated, like what you can do in Ableton.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much any software now, like really easy.
So is that because how old it was? That was like all had to be done live when they recorded it, one loop or one take.
Actual vocoder, like the old school analog style before everything went digital. Yeah.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
it's kind of like a talk box for a guitar player. You heard those solos where they're like talking and they're playing the guitar at the same time. That's a tube that goes down their throat that they fucking are just like playing on. Like, yeah, no shit. The shit is
what the fuck?
Yep. The shit looks uncomfortable. I was like, no. It looks like a beer bong tube going down your throat to implement like it's called a talk box. And that's where they get that wah, like Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains does it. Not any recent stuff, but like older stuff. But yeah, not this guy, man. I wouldn't put shit down. I'm like, nah, son. But
that's fucking weird.
It makes a cool effect, cool sound. Like, but I've also heard it's the saliva that you have to deal with because it builds up over the, like if you're in the middle of a fucking solo and your shit just like it goes down the tube, it gets messy as fuck. Like so, I'm like,
just
so you're saying studio use only and just play that shit over the speakers live at like on tour. Like,
yeah, that makes sense. That's pretty intense. Yeah, to do that, try to do it live on tour. I can see in a studio, that's fucking cool. You know, controlled environment, like grading those sounds and shit. But like, yeah, live, I mean, good for him. Pull that off, but that's some shit.
Yep. So like that, what you heard was like before it even was like shit. I mean, there was no auto tune. There wasn't even Ableton. I don't think I started using Ableton their first release. Like I just was there, and it was a perfect transition because I hated Pro Tools. Like it just doesn't resonate with me. Like the function out there's so many steps to even get going in that program that I took even professional classes on it, and it just never clicked with me, man. I'm just like, bah, bah, bah. And luckily that program came along.
Didn't have a good GUI, huh, Kev?
Huh?
Didn't have a good GUI, huh?
Actually, fuck no. Fuck that fucking thing.
Actually, like, no, it didn't.
It's still the same one, but it's like you got to set up this to this to this, and then like you can get like I'm just like, come on, man, give me how the default setting is for Ableton. It opens up with a audio track and a MIDI track, blank, already loaded. So if you have an instrument, you can go to town right away. If you have a plugin, you can load that right away. But it's instantaneous. Like when you're on that vibe, you don't want to fucking spend an hour setting up a bunch of fucking return tracks or send tracks or shit like that. I'm just like, so it doesn't resonate with me. Even though that program is industry standard, I fucking hate industry standard. Like, fuck that. I want to fight it.
Man. Well, especially nowadays, it just feels like, I mean, I get the higher up the ladder you go on some level, there is a unity in the sense of certain softwares, you know, but it seems like nowadays there's, general.
They all do the same thing. It's just the GUI interface that's comfortable to you. Like, let me tell you.
Well, it's really just it's user interface. So if you're an incredible creator, but you can't figure out the fucking interface, like people, you know, older people that I don't think there's too many of them, but maybe really resist, you know, using a computer at all. Nothing wrong with that. But then they have, you know, they type a letter, they do an email, they want to chat, they type really slow or those different names, but they may have something beautiful to say, but if they don't know the user interface to communicate that, to get that expression out, so yeah, I think the diversity of graphic user interfaces or softwares or things is fucking awesome, man, because then it'll find people to become creators in ways they never knew they could have before, because it was just this one way of doing it and they couldn't figure that shit out.
Yeah, so you're referring to that guy that's still like typing on the swing line typewriter and shit to send out like emails and stuff? Like he's still ponying expressing, like dropping it in the fucking.
That's right, Pony expressing. He's Pony expressing his feelings.
Yep.
I'm gonna send him a letter, like not an email, like that shit.
I'm gonna write a letter to my senator. He'll read that.
He takes the candle wax fucking stamp.
He has a fucking literally like a stock of wood with his fucking crest carved into it and shit. Oh my god.
That was their emails and shit back then, like that was like their Costner movie, The Postman, yeah, like fucking
yeah. Kevin Costner, boy, right? Yeah, just like that. DMV track. A DMV track was born.
There you go. That's why I call it
Another one.
gallop, because it's like a fucking horse galloping, like those movements. That's why I call it what I call it. Yep, it's a good explanation. It's a good word for what it is. It's like that's some of those pumping gallops, like. My shit is like neurofunk. That's my style of D&B. Is like that. Wow. Like it makes you're bouncing basically. Like, yeah, there's some Jedis out of DC, my hometown, that like were rocking that style for a minute. Like they're Kiko. Then he did a remix of Milkshake, dude.
Yeah, the main.
Just pump, like, oh my god.
That sounds awesome. You send me a link to that one?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's nice to hear like pop music done in a way that you're like, fuck, man, that's sick, but it totally has nothing to do with the original track. Yeah,
like awesome. It doesn't sound anything like that.
How did he get away with copyright stuff on that?
He probably like
had to pay for it or some shit.
Yeah, because he was on a label, so.
Oh yeah, so it was fine.
They contacted like
technology. Yeah, they did it. It's all on label. Yeah, they figured that shit out. Obviously, they're all just trying to make money. They decided that was a good way to make money. So great, cool. I want to hear it.
All right. I gotta send it to you in the email, right?
Oh, it's a download track. It's not a YouTube track or anything.
I mean, I'm sure I could find it.
Wherever it's easiest to you.
You got to know where to look. What does he call that shit? There we go. Yep, there it is. Right. That shit is fucking. If that doesn't make you want to get up and smack your mom in the face, I don't know what will, man. Like, that shit's awesome.
Okay, I'm right now categorizing or subcategorizing D&B. We got Neurofunk, Kevin's favorite. We got Liquid. What are the other kinds?
Currently, then there's Neurofunk, but then there's Neuro, and then there used to be two-step.
Okay.
Clown step. I shit you not. I shit you not, man.
I'm writing them down. I believe you.
I don't even know. Like, basically,
Jungle would be an important one to put in there.
Yeah, that's one of the original ones you said, right? Or the kind of the original or the older school from the 90s?
The OG, yes, absolutely.
Okay, the OG. I'll write that down. Let's put it on here. Just for you, Jacob.
You could probably put break beats in there usually, but it's also not entirely safe to put break beats in there.
I'll say break beats, sort of.
Both of you have that track in the Messenger or whatever.
Wonderful. Grazie. Anything else you can think of?
I'm sure. I'm just as blank as a fart right now.
Neuro.
I mean, there's tons of other names on there: breakcore, raga, jungle, hard step, dark step, tech step, ambient, drum and bass, liquid funk, jump up, drum funk, funk step, sam bass, drill and bass. There's a fucking like a million subgenres. Give up on what you're trying to do right there.
At 2 hours,
drum and bass,
53 minutes and 50 seconds. That's where Zach lists all of them.
30 subgenres.
There's more. That's not all of them.
Or that's where Zach like quadruples my list in about 8 seconds. That's all. So I'm not going to try to write down. That's my point.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Tech step,
Yeah.
like dark, yeah, like
Tech
all
step.
that stuff.
Oh, and then he can get dubstep and all that, or you might have said that in your slur of
Here,
dynamics.
this is literally created by Red Bull to answer your question.
Oh, nice.
Right here. We're
By
gonna go
Red
ahead
Bull.
and put it in here. It is
Give
an
me wings.
expert guide to drum and bass subgenres.
Oh, the link.
Progressive, technically you could toss the progressive thing on front of anything that does what it does and also incorporates some type of progressive mentality, which could be seen as small as a chord progression, but generally
I'll be right
insinuates
back.
like the building mechanic. Yeah.
I'll be right
No
back.
problem. So you
Actually,
can toss progressive on the front of anything. The old
temporary
typical
smoke break.
progressives were generally referring to trance or house, but you could put that on anything.
Remember those?
That article is the best way to go though, because they actually have like video examples of the sound there as well. So
Cool. Perfect. That's excellent. So it's similar to the very detailed resource you were looking for, but in its own right. But
yeah,
something
just for
similar.
something different.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that I wanted for something different.
Yeah. Awesome. Don't know how it
Yeah.
feels the way you laid that out to Kevin. Like I know. Oops, that's loud. That just the way, even as you were framing it, obviously there's a lot of pre-thought out things, but even as you're saying it, you're expressing just a coherence of a lot of different things into this very specific resource that would be so awesome and it is feasible.
Oh yeah,
You know,
it wouldn't
and
even be that hard to make.
you're just fishing out there to see if it actually exists. Oh, it doesn't. I guess I could do it. But will I do it? I don't know. But it's a great idea. Now it's in the morphogenic field because it's been spoken. So well done, Zach.
It's interesting because if I went through the process of making it, I would never need it again.
Yeah, that's true. But then
Because I would systematically go through all of them,
multi-level marketing,
and then like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It is a great idea. It is a great idea. Hey, we have 9 viewers right now. Let's get over to 9th. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, this is still 9th here on the West Coast. Yeah, isn't that interesting also that my brother was born on your birthday and he's 6 years younger than me?
It
Your
is
same day.
pretty different.
And you're 3 years about. No, you're almost 4 because I just turned 36 or 34. And you are 36 right now, right?
Correct. For 10
So
more days.
May, June. So 2 years and 2 months apart. So it's a 20.
Well, I mean, actually, because it's a thing, I'm actually only 1 day old. But my 37th solar return is
Yeah.
coming up very soon.
Well said, sir. Keep changing that NLP. That's good. It is good. That's why I do it. Like I haven't pushed it much. I have for a while. I just kind of let little things go. I think I've told you about it. But like blessing, be less you, be less you.
Yeah.
No thanks. So be mooring. But like people are like what? And it's like sometimes I say it without trying to explain. I just throw it out.
I just randomly came across an article. The U.S. Coast Guard on today.
Yeah.
They displayed a bust. I don't know when the bust actually happened, but they displayed a bust of 23,000 pounds of cocaine and 7,000 pounds of weed. 23,000 pounds of cocaine. Holy shit.
Wow.
That's so much coke.
By the Coast Guard, who usually what? The ones who intercepted or try to run in that dynamic too. What CIA or FDA, all that. The Coast Guard's a different deal. It has to go through a different chain of command or something, right? But when they
I don't know how that all goes. Really?
I don't either, but it's interesting because usually you hear about FDA or something.
You call that shit lucky that they were bringing that shit overseas or something, man, because them motherfuckers don't get down like that usually, man. Shit.
Maybe because Trump's been wanting to build a wall. They got to find other ways around. Who knows? Apparently it didn't work.
Wow.
Go back to hiding, dude. I'm hiding now because Zach's hiding. So we were all hiding.
Aaron, get off camera. All right, fine.
We're all hiding.
Back on video. I thought you were coming on video. Fine, I'll go off camera. It's fine.
Hiding. I just don't even put my video on because it's a fucking slideshow of pixels that almost look like a dude for no reason.
Not that bad. It's not that bad. Sometimes it is, but especially when you're in the little corner like this, when we have a big screen on, it's totally fine. It's
It's
super
usually
small.
pretty bad. All right. Well, when I get
You
back
do
to
it?
my computer, I can
You do
turn it on. I mean, I can turn it on
Do
all
it.
the time. I turn
Please.
it off because it seems like just a waste of resources to me. But
No, come on. No, I'm missing your face. Even a pixelated face, Zach, is better than a bouncing bubblehead. I see that image all the time on social media. Boo! I want to see real living Zach with a real living voice as we talk every
brand
night.
continuity. Hell yeah. It's so
No.
funny after it's like the process of like standardizing to that photo everywhere and then posting a lot of stuff. I started having like the weirdest stuff happen, and it like opened me up to this whole idea of like subliminal marketing in a lot of ways that I wasn't already looking at, because I started
Yeah.
meeting people, and these people, the only way that they would have possibly ever known me was through some kind of social media connection or seeing me on social media, and then they would meet me without knowing that, but they would have this basically, I feel like I've seen you somewhere before reaction. And I was like, I know exactly where you've seen me before. Like,
Yeah,
I know
totally.
where you saw me before. I know why you know you've seen me before and everything. You know what I mean?
What
But to
movies?
them, they're like, what's going on? I feel like I
Yeah.
know you from somewhere. And I'm like, nope, we've never met.
Yep, but I know. Yeah. And
It's
by
not
the
that
way,
bad, Zach.
by
That
the way,
movie, I Love You Man. That's where he's like, yeah, you know me. You pissed on my face. Like he had these like funnel cakes in all the fucking bathrooms. Like, never mind that conversation. You're like what you were saying, Zach, just totally reminded me of that movie. Sorry, dude. I can like,
it's all good.
I can pull out the randomest scripts and like weird shit. Wow. You're like, yeah, you know me. You pissed on my face, friend.
All right, so you know Willow, like one of the most awesome human beings I've ever met, who's also like the coolest administrator we've ever had, and the only one and the first one, and that title holds true.
Check.
She says it's not that bad, Zach.
Okay.
Video's not that bad.
Twist of the arm.
She's the boss. So.
A little bit. Thanks, Willow. Thanks for backing me up.
All your friends are doing it.
That's great.
All right.
It's a fun,
I mean, I'm not
fun-
hiding from the camera. I'm being typical efficient Zach, who's going, I'm limited on resources and the camera's not that good. What can we basically eddy off the ship to make sure the important things are working? It's pretty much how I think about all of life. So
Yeah, when we got still images going, we want to see your lovely pixelated face. And the crowd agrees. Zachary.
Just a cameo, man. Just a cameo.
Oh, shut up, man. Shut up. No, he's coming on. He's just going to stay on. Don't give him an eye out at a time. It's going on. It's all good.
Out.
What are you doing? He's already agreed to come on. Shh, Kevin, shut up.
He's already clever enough. We don't need to give him more outs.
Right, come on, Kevin. Don't give him an easy one. Jesus. This guy's very smart. You know how hard it is trying to push him into things? It's pretty much impossible. I just wear him down because I'm really nice and I just keep chiding him and I love him very much.
That's the way to go. You found the only successful way to force me to do something through erosion, basically.
I know it.
It's like, I mean, Peach, I don't care whether you move away. Like, you could, if you wanted to, as you slowly caress the water over it and force the beach wherever you want it to go anyway.
Yep. Like, no big deal. All right.
Perfect. Yeah.
No,
I'm highly manipulatable by people who try to be nice to me, turns out.
Yay. Aw, great. I'm super nice and I like you and you're like my awesome older brother I never had. Like Frank in a totally different way. It's great. Kevin, how old are you? You're like 2 years older than me, right?
Come on, man. Why you?
How old are you?
Don't
Wait,
have-
you embarrassed about your age?
He's
Jesus
1 day
Christ,
old,
Kevin.
Aaron. I tried to tell you this. Everybody's only 1 day old.
What solar return is this for you this year? Dissociate it from some weird stigma you have like an old woman. Jesus Christ. What's your age, Kevin?
Was that some kind
All
of
right.
passive stab at me acting like an old woman because I don't want to be my age?
No, not you at all. I get the dynamic. Kevin doesn't want to say his actual. I'm 34. Like Zach's almost 37. Solar returns. Like don't ask me that.
Aaron, I'm 10 years older than you.
All right, cool. I got a lot of older brothers. This is great, guys. I think this is fucking great. I really like it.
You old motherfucker.
I've been the oldest of 5 kids for a long time. I love my younger siblings. Just never had an older siblings. I got a
This
bunch
is a
of
funny
them.
thing.
Cool.
Again, like I'm realizing when we're saying this, that we also have like an ageism thing that happens inside of our head. Like I don't think that any of us subscribe to it very much. I feel like we're interacting with each other. We feel like we're all the same age, right, or whatever. Like we don't think about some delineation between that. But in the world, we do have an ageism thing going on. The old people, those young kids, this kind of shit. Like there's this age classing going on too, which is kind of weird. Like I feel like we're all basically the same age. You know what I mean? But
agree.
it's like,
I
how
totally agree.
far outside of where we are would we need to go to be like that fucking old dude? You know what I mean? Or that fucking,
Yeah.
you're just a naive kid or whatever. Like, I mean, where is the line? You know what I mean?
For me in this dynamic, it's just fun having the like knowing my 3D growing life awareness, and I know what it's like to be an older brother, just physically in age, and to be around you guys who literally have more of this life experience. So we're peers in a lot of ways. There's lots of shit I'm learning about music from you guys, and other shit in life.
My only friend.
So it's just cool to have other human beings that have been on the planet longer that are in that way, more solar returns, and to now interact as peers, right? Because my siblings now, we all interact as peers. They're all adults. It's great, but there's just that like other facets. I think it's really cool. It's exciting.
I wonder if women are worried about the age thing because they think that like, is it just like what is the perception that they're worried about the other person having? Because if it's about a guy and it's about sex, guys have sex with you if they think you're sexy. They literally do not give a fuck how old you are. That is not a part of the equation at all.
At all. Zero.
Like, damn, that girl's looking good. She's 66.
Woo!
I mean, all right, but
Cool.
that's crazy.
Those are good numbers. Another good sign. All right. That's how I see that.
It has nothing to do with your age, unless I mean, okay, so we got like, this is in no way, shape, or form ever to be taken out of context without me being able to say that I actually cleared that up right after it.
Yeah,
You're still not supposed to have sex with kids, everybody. All right.
Right.
So
Hello.
age matters at a certain
right.
but
For sure.
you know what I mean. We're talking about the other direction. Okay.
Good call. Good call.
No one ever went, oh my God, she's too old. I can't have sex with her, despite the fact that she really turns me on. No guy ever in history.
Right.
So
and
that's not a
probably
thing.
be super Jedi at everything, dude. Like they're just, toast. You just be like, wee.
Jasmine said
Having said that, I wouldn't really know as far as sexual experiences go. I think I have like I think it's like a 7 year. Yeah, 7 years is the farthest I've ever been apart.
Oh, in age? Huh.
Mm-hmm.
7's a good number.
Yeah, relationship didn't end up so great. Relationship ended up being a 0 in the long run, but
yeah. It found coherent, balance itself out. Neg entropy. It's all good. Yeah, that's funny.
What's your guys' biggest gap?
What's yours, Kevin?
I did date a girl that was basically half my age, but we never had sex.
That quite like
Yeah. Well, like so like someone you've interacted with or had some form of
decade.
We did have sexual interactions though.
Decade, maybe a little bit more.
I wonder how.
Yeah.
I would like to see the
got more than a
statistics.
decade.
You would need a big sample group, but I'd like to see the statistics. Like, how often does a person have, like what percentage of people in their life have sex with someone that's outside of 10 years from whatever their age is?
Yeah, because that's an interesting demographic. I mean, within one digit, it's like, when you get to a certain age, it's like, I don't know, within 10 years, it's like, okay, it's fine. But like, you get out of that, it's interesting. It's fine too. It's not like anything's wrong. It's just like, it becomes less common, I guess. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what that reasoning is.
Personalities like lock, then like, it's on y'all. Like, who gives a shit? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Within those.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, as a general truth, for sure, respecting everyone's choices. If you're happy, do your thing, whatever. It's just interesting to see the demographic.
Yeah, it's been maybe a little bit more than a decade, maybe. Yeah. Like lets me know that I guess I'm young at heart. I'm a Toys R Us kid for real.
Yeah.
When we were like 16 years old, one of my fucking friends, he was just like, you know how some kids like. Some kid guys just like 15 16 years old, suddenly you're like, what the fuck, dude, you're like a man all of a sudden.
Yes, I was
like you got a beard and shit. Right? There was one point in time where he was like on the regular banging this dude's wife that used to buy us beer all the time. She was like 46 and he was 16 years old.
Yikes.
When I say like mine is like 7 years, I'm sitting here comparing myself to people like him when I'm like, man, he had like a 30-year gap. I might be weird.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I've been in a marriage for 10 years, so I have no idea. We'll see who I run into and meet. I really don't know. But yeah, mobile, like the whole same thing. It's not really about. I mean, really, what it comes down to, it's not about age. It's about connecting at a heart level and all that shit and whatever.
There you go.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
And
pretty sure we
whatever.
were talking about sex.
Oh,
Yeah.
just
So-
sex.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing. Like
Well,
you can have a heart attraction connection with someone and not have your penis attracted to them. That can definitely happen.
Hey, no.
So like, no, we've talked about way worse in this show. That's nothing. Like, the dynamic of being attracted, or women not revealing their age because they'll be less, not necessarily just sexually attractive, just attractive or something in general.
And I don't even know that that's the reason. I mean, maybe it is.
Right.
I
You know.
don't know. I'm postulating.
Yeah.
So,
Just that dynamic. And I don't know. It's interesting.
I mean, I don't know.
Okay, Jasmine said, I thought I was going to be 30 this year. Turns out I'll be 29. That's nice, huh? You're younger. It doesn't matter if it's like, oh, I'm not 30. It's just, I don't know. Wow, I mean, you're younger.
I did that, Jasmine. I did that exact same thing. I thought I was a year older than I was like 1 year. It was like a couple years ago. Yeah.
I imagine, like, at a certain age, though, it's like, I mean, I pay attention to my ages now because I find significant meaning out of them and astrologically and numerically to myself. But until I did in the last 3 or 4 years, really, really paying attention to that and find deep, deep meaning in that. It was just kind of, you hit 21, then maybe 25 is like when you can be off your parents' insurance or something in America. Like, I don't know. There's no real age significant, maybe 30.
That's when your
Yeah.
insurance
Like, just
rates
age.
drop. Like, 25, 27, somewhere, your insurance rates drop. Like,
That's what it is.
That's your cherry on top. Is that your insurance rates go down?
Yeah. And that's
Fuck
it.
me.
Your discount at like age 65 or something at Denny's, like what
What
else?
kind of culture do we live in where we look forward to a birthday because our insurance drops? Like, what
Unreal.
the fuck?
Ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
To finish off, she said, was reminded by a post Samantha put up on Facebook. Also, Sam maybe did the same thing. I agree with Zach. We're all the same age, or it feels like it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, totally.
We're as old as we make ourselves feel, says Jasmine. I'm excited to be older, and I want white wisdom hairs, but I don't ever get any. I never celebrate birthdays, so I tend to forget.
Did you since I started doing coming on the show and at least being more involved I guess it was maybe a month maybe or so longer ago.
It's probably
But
my
even
third,
doing
fourth,
both-
fifth show at least, yeah.
Yeah, time is not bogging me down at all anymore. I don't know
Cool.
how that happened or why it happened.
Zach can tell you why. It's from the 13th dimension, but continue.
I'm just not concerned about it. So maybe it's because my days and nights kind of meld together. But I'm just not concerned about it as I once was. And that goes from doing Jin's show before this one now, and then this one, whether I'm on the air or not. Just participation and stuff. I'm just things will happen exactly when they're supposed to. So I'm not out there trying to steer the fucking boat and creating that resistance that at one time really fucked shit up. So thank you guys for the show and Jen too, actually, because shit.
Yeah, man. Dude, Jen, look, honestly, I've said this to Jen down there too. It's true. On some level, she's doing a lot more work kind of than we are in the show. If she's going for hours by herself,
Yeah, no doubt.
that is insane in an awesome way. Jen is amazing, really amazing. Yeah.
But I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
she's pretty great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty great. Yeah.
I just don't know.
We're all in the same vector. We're in the
Yeah.
slipstream. We're in a little warp field, little slipstream. I
It's
like that.
gotta be what it is, man. Just not even sweating. I know what day it is, but man, time doesn't exist anyway, so it's not really it's an illusion.
So I tell
Yeah,
you
I
what,
think part of this is what Jasmine's saying too. With how old we are is how we make ourselves feel, basically. But when we really have things that we enjoy doing, things that we look forward, we don't give a fuck how old we are. We're enjoying what we're doing right now. We ain't
Right.
fucking writing hash marks on the fucking wall waiting to get out of jail anymore. You just having a good time right now. I don't give a fuck if I'm 40 or 4. This is pretty fun,
Yeah.
Right, man, no shit. And doing those, we got to get those YouTube videos up or whatever. The sounds, I think I labeled the audio track I sent you with a bunch of the sounds I recorded from my phone inside the tube, void noises, right? But just even the video and shit, it's so much fun. It's so much fun to watch. It feels good to watch. It's just fun. It's really fucking cool.
You sent it to who? You sent it to me?
No, I sent it to Zach when we were down there.
Oh,
We recorded
okay.
while we were down there, but I could send it to you too. Actually, it's fucking
If
hilarious
there's
and beautiful to
noises
listen
to be
to.
had, I will get them.
Cool, man. I'm gonna send it to you right now.
Word.
Jen was in the comments too. She said, "Oh, you guys are so awesome. I love you so much." Will said, "We love you, Jen." Jen said, "Time's not real, guys." Hee hee. It's true.
It's just
gotta
something
believe it.
we created. So look at it, look at it. Oh shit! Now I gotta go. I fucking come on the mic.
Let's see. Jasmine said, "I feel the same way about time." Zach, it's so nice to see you.
Hi.
Hi. I'm not even on any drugs. I'm just happy to see you. All right. So I feel the same way, and I have been at times. I feel the same way about time lately. I used to feel bad about waking up late and going to bed late, but I have nothing going on that requires me to wake up early. Me and my son sleep on our time. Beautiful. It sounds like a great way to live.
Yep.
Which that time doesn't even exist anyway. Yeah. Oh, look, guys, we're on video. All right, let me find this thing. Void noises.
I have some good recordings from what we were doing in the tunnel too. It's like
Yeah.
It's just 2 big recordings that I can send to you. That certain parts of it are like 15 minutes of it's overlapped, and then one of the recordings is like 30 minutes instead of 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And so there's 30 minutes of content there, 2 different recordings
Ooh.
of 15 minutes of it.
There you
that I
go,
can send
Kev.
to you.
Sweet.
It
So
has a lot of
that's-
cool like flute noises, harmonic
Yeah.
toning.
Well, okay, so Zach was
a bunch
sampling.
of
Actually, this is
ridiculous voice samples.
Zach was sampling while I was recording. What you're gonna hear on my phone, Kev, that's from my phone. But Zach was also sampling with better audio equipment at the same time. So a lot of the sounds you'll hear in there, which should be, some he's picked up a lot of that. So cool.
Right on.
I'll send it to you again.
Probably
There,
all
just
of
so
it.
it's-
I was recording from the end of the tube with a directional mic, and then with
Yeah.
a different mic from actually right where everybody was.
Yep.
So,
Snazzy stuff there. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
can
was
just
dope, man. It
post
was
them
fun.
somewhere unedited to link them to people if you guys want to listen to some fucking
Yeah,
random
man.
bullshit.
Yeah.
But it's super random, just people hanging out in a tunnel and being dumbasses. It's fun though.
No, because it was so much fun, man. It was just super organic and silly and hilarious, and it went on for a while. And just the sounds, we kept making weirder sounds. Like the end, you'll hear Kev. I think the last minute or so, saying the sound E, and we'd hit. I don't know, it was like an angle in the tunnel or something, and it bounced. I don't know. It made this incredible additional, I don't know, harmonic or whatever.
Awesome.
And Joe's like, do it again. Like, what was that? We tried doing it a few times. We kind of got it, but yeah, it's cool, man.
Fantastic. Yeah, no doubt.
On top of the jokes, I cannot like underestimate anybody who hears this. It's fucking hilarious. It's silly. It's funny. It's just ridiculous. It's so enjoyable to listen to, and the sounds are a whole other thing.
It's
All right, I'll
vulgar,
send
but
it to
at
you,
some
Jacob.
point in time, we will post a video of my
Oh, those are the sounds?
two-fisted flute playing technique.
Oh my god, I don't have that uploaded on YouTube, so we can't watch it. I can send you the Dropbox file, but dude, because really, it's so worth watching. Can we watch that? If we watch it tonight, I
Send me
would go
the
to sleep so
Dropbox
happy.
link, I'll see
Oh
if
my
I
god.
can run
Oh
it.
my god. Yeah. All right. Let's hold up. You guys are the best. Whoever's still in here and is
If
able
kids
to
are
watch.
watching, don't let them.
Go to bed. Go to
It's
bed.
all good.
Oh, the audio or the video probably won't be great, but it'll be good enough because of the upload. But that's okay. So let's see. I'm working on it.
We'll provide the high quality video for you eventually.
Oh
Soon.
Soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
Soon, when I end up getting into the habit of actually ever video editing to the 10,000 video editing tasks that I have.
Dude, we could just throw it straight up. It's like 33 minutes. No, that one's like 4 minutes. The actual video is like 4 or 5 minutes. But if you make micro content out of it, yeah, that'd be hilarious. That would be great. I see a lot of flute memes with that. Let's see.
So ridiculous. Wow. After that, after
And
the
there it
ridiculous
is.
video and commentary on it, I'm probably gonna head out.
Oh, that's fine. We're actually going to be able to watch it on here. I'm super happy.
Well, hopefully,
guess you're-
hopefully it's not
yeah.
a laggy piece of shit.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if you might have to download it first. Your download should be, it's 500 megs, but it shouldn't take too long, even with 10 down. You have
Even
10 down, right?
No, I have like 30 down. I just have
Oh,
trash
yeah.
upload. I mean, well, it's not that great a download, but you know, if I download it, then I would have to play it through something else, which StreamYard bugs out with the audio of outside things
Oh,
half the time.
yes.
So
So you're going to open up on Google Chrome tab for Dropbox and try to stream it?
we're gonna try.
Yeah, hopefully it'll let you choose the quality or something, but whatever. We'll see. Or I guess yeah, whatever. All right, let me get inside where I can be louder. Wake up the neighborhood out here. Oh, and I got timestamp this shit. It's great.
320.
Is it really?
Is that significant? 320? I'm 420?
It's 320 into the, like, if you wanted to timestamp it, it's how long the show.
Oh, 3 hours, 20 minutes, right on the dot. I gotcha.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking at the thing.
This video that you linked to me last is not the right video.
Oh, it's another one I got in the tunnel? Okay.
Yeah.
I think I did upload a couple.
That's when we're all down in the middle.
I gotcha. Okay, hold up. I'll tell you what, here's the file, because I can't, on my phone, I can't really tell which one's which, because the still images all look very similar. But, say the folder that they're in.
You guys want to hear something crazy?
Yes?
Let's see. That guy, that fork right there is 4,096 hertz. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, yeah, I've seen those before. Yeah, go ahead, do it.
It's so high pitched.
Yep, that's pretty high. Yep.
That's for clearing space.
Cool. Where's your 528 one? I like that too.
Followed by the, yeah.
Oh, I like that.
The fuck?
I got to get that right. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. That's good, Kev. I found it, Zach. If you didn't find it, I just sent you that link. I'm sure that's the video.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't actually like load straight to it in fucking Dropbox. I was trying to navigate around to find it, but it was not happening.
I sent you the direct link on here, so that should be it now.
Yeah, this one should work.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, we got video now still. All right. Gosh, this would be great with Kevin here. I want to see. It'd be awesome if we had more like video reactions, because I've seen it so many times now. It's so funny, but the first time was on the floor.
This is when y'all are in the tunnel, like doing sampling and.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It was a part of it. It was a part of it. It was a part of the whole thing.
It's kind of that. I'm gonna turn my camera off for this because I have to maximize my fucking.
Oh, legitimate excuse.
Upload
All right,
here.
fair enough. Oh my gosh, it's great.
It looks like I have a past life experience.
Oh, that's like fucking where I used to. Right on, man.
Feeling a deep resonance with your flute.
My skin flute.
That's actually pretty sick. Please continue.
Don't
worry, we got it all on camera. It's fine.
Notice the subtle bob of the head. It's very important in the technique.
You said it got all over my mouth. Got stuff all over my mouth.
This is my stuff. Oh, I got it all over my face. This is white stuff. Is that coming out in this little hole?
I know hummingbirds spit nectar.
I was hoping I had pleased the flute now.
Try to do a scale.
I guarantee you, if white stuff is coming out of you, please the flute. Pretty much guarantee.
I was already doing this. Alright.
Trying
to take my wins
don't
here.
put your finger back down.
Okay.
Just raise one finger at a time. And... Oh, so pretty! Yay!
I did it. I did
No,
it.
the way you were playing it before
I
through
told
the
you I
emotions
pleased
was
the
far
flute.
sexier. Right, Brian?
It was. And actually more creative.
Way better.
I like to play it this
I
way.
can play a scale and then break out into a solo. It's wild.
That's so good. Fuck, that's XXL, bro.
You can play the top and bottom note at the same time if you can.
Oh, trust me, I know. Let's show you how. Pretty sick, right?
That's why the fucking.
General rule is the whiter the better.
I agree.
Yeah. The wider the better.
Deeper the better.
The deeper the better, baby.
Without bottoming it out.
If it doesn't fit, make it.
No.
There is no such thing as bottoming it. What's that?
Be strong with your voice. Are you trying to break the singing bolts down there?
No.
No.
I am breaking them.
Look, he's doing the overtone.
Nice.
You can overtone my flute any day.
Put a little motion in with them overtones. I'll never be able to listen. We'll never be able to have a sound bath again. Who knows what the person playing the music is doing with their flute?
When you close your eyes.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
No shit.
The most
It looks like
disturbing.
that when your eyes are
sound
open.
bad.
And then you close your eyes. And the shaman has a whole other relationship with his flute.
Have you been? No.
Really good.
Really good.
Really good. That was very good. We're stunned in silence over here.
It's one of my favorites.
So cool, man. So cool.
Yeah, that totally, like, that was a in the neighborhood I was actually raised in, there was a sewer that was actually, I think it was like 9 feet tall, and you could walk and it just would get pitch black the further down you would go. Like, that was my playground, and like you could ride your bikes through there and all kinds of shit. Like, I can't even imagine doing that, like breaking out, like doing that, whether or not it's old Zach fucking going to town on the month. Like,
dude, and
Jedi skills, son. You got some Jedi skills.
The fucking skills.
I'm glad the last time he did it on there, it was clean. Like the screen was clean, because at least when I was playing back on the StreamYard anyway, like it was kind of choppy the first few times he was doing it, so the motion was kind of weird, you know. Then the last one was perfect. There's just this fluid motion. And they're all like that. And the last one was perfect. Or the first one, I think it's like, 2 minutes in or something. It's like perfectly timed. It's just epic. The whole thing's fucking great, man. And that's what happened in the tunnel.
Jen couldn't have been more perfect in this situation. Just truly, honestly trying to teach me that I could play both a bottom hole and a top hole at the same time. And I was like,
oh, I know.
I'm doing that. I'm already doing that part. Don't worry about that. I got that down pat.
That was awesome.
So I think that's going on, Kevin, during that 30-minute clip. So when I started videoing, it just silenced my audio recording track. So there's like a 4-minute gap in there, and that's what's going on. But before that and stuff, there's other funny stuff or whatever. There's a lot of sounds. There's actual playing and singing for minutes at a time, or different beats, or people doing different shit, or playing the singing bowls or the flute, or Jen's playing her flute on there. And yeah, there's a lot of cool shit in and around that. I mean, that too is super cool. That's the point. The whole thing wasn't just like, now we're in the tunnel, we're gonna make music. All right, everybody sing this note, and if you mess up, you're in trouble. Like, it just, people just did shit, man. It was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
And we start making some wild ass noises at the end of that. I forgot towards the end of that track. We're just like encouraging stupid human things. Remember, Zach?
Oh yeah, one of them it's just ridiculous noises at the end of it.
It's awesome. It's very encouraging, just stupid human sounds. Like when somebody's...
That's that 30-minute clip you sent?
Yeah, the audio.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
first one, void noises.
Right on.
We need a separate video of just that clip. Yes, that is coming. Well... you know what it's going to be, though? It's funny. When you scroll through all our videos, you're going to have like expanded inner podcasting, gently healing, call us thing, expanded inner podcasting, all these random guy just going at a flute. They don't recognize your face. Like, it's in the middle of all of our videos, which is great. I love that. That is just fine.
Man. Showmanship.
The audio recordings that I had the volumes like down as low as possible so I can just add gain to them later and shit.
Yeah.
I would just play them right now, but they're in their raw format, pretty quiet. So,
Sam, you missed everything. It's worth right now in the live rewinding back 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Rewind 12 minutes and just watch it, and then come back and catch up with us. It's worth it.
I'm actually gonna get out of here. Are you guys done for tonight too? Are you guys gonna keep going or what?
No, 11:30. I think I'm gonna call it. It's day 50. I don't have to go balls to the wall every night. Yeah, I'm tired, man.
All right. Well,
we're doing it more often.
We're gonna
so
try and end the broadcast in. Hang on. Let me figure out 1 minute and 33 seconds as of now. And when we do that, oh no. Yes, I'm just gonna end it. I was gonna run a track, but I'm not gonna even play music. I'm literally just gonna end it because we're almost at 3 hours, 33 minutes, and 33
It
seconds.
also means Sam. Hold on. It also means if Sam rewound right now, it's gonna get cut off in the middle of her watching a video, and she'll watch it later. But it's just funny. But when you shut up at 3:33, you're gonna have to like end broadcast at what 3:27 or something. Start clicking the buttons.
Do my best.
Takes a while to render.
Yeah, I'm trying.
My closest was I didn't even remember that, so you're gonna get way better than me. I overshot by 6 seconds. I went trying to end another one like that.
That might be closer than I ever get. I don't know. We'll see.
No, you'll be all right. You're gonna get a lot closer because you know to start sooner.
I'm gonna hit a jet on the nose.
At 3:33, you're gonna hit end broadcast.
I'm gonna when it actually ends, it's gonna be right on the nose. It's gonna be perfect.
Right. I believe it. I'm excited to see it.
At this rate, I might end up cutting somebody off in the middle of them talking. But
waiting for the end.
We're waiting for it. There, wait for it to end.
You see my pencil go flying? I hit the pounder and the pencil went flying.
33, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Start ending.